The opinions expressed on this show do not necessarily reflect those of the Barbers Chat Network, our great partners at H&B Media, or any of our media peers. We're just five idiots who love sports and love to talk shit. If you're offended easily, then this show isn't for you. And for those of you who aren't offended easily, sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Remember, it's only entertainment.
So cool.
Triple double hat trick, I know the code too. Ice trade, go for trade, yeah we cold too. Getting paper on these player haters, old news. Money on the other line, so I'm not gonna hold you. Money on the other line, so I'm not gonna hold you. Money on the other line, so I'm not gonna hold you. Money on the other line, so I'm not gonna hold you. Money on the other line, so I'm not gonna hold. My agent just said we made 100 flat. Make it back and make it stack. This like no Steven Jack. Put my rings up in the camera like I needed that. Up in the air and at the rim is where I meet them at.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another edition of I'm Not Gonna Hold You, man. I am your host, Scott. It is Friday, August 9th, 2024. You know what I'm saying? We got a big show for y'all, man. We got a nice crew today. JR Bang is not in the building, neither is Mikey, but Courtney will be joining us later on in the local hour. And then we're also going to have the homie Tosin from Shirtless Plantain Show, which is one of the best podcasts out there about soccer, or as you soccer fans call it, football. We talking about real American football today, man. But of course, y'all can follow me at all social media platforms at Barberchair Scott. You can follow the Barberchair Network on all social media platforms at Barberchair Net. Follow H&B Media, H&B Media TV on Twitter, and at H&B Media on Instagram, man. And of course, you can subscribe to the Patreon, man. As you can see right now, patreon.com/Barbershop Network. Y'all can click right here. You just take your phone. We got updated stuff now. Take your phone, scan it on there, and support the crew, man. We got new episodes of Cinema with the Guys, new episodes of Return to Queens Boulevard. You're going to get all the I'm Not Gonna Hold You clips before everybody gets them on YouTube. Get all that. You get a separate local hour aside from the show. Check that out. And yeah, man, we summer sessions will be back next Tuesday as well, man. And we got a new thing, man. So me and my brother Flows, of course, y'all know we cover the Bears. This is his this is his fifth season covering the Bears. This is my fourth season covering the Bears. And yeah, man, the Bears got a big international game coming up October 13th against the Jacksonville Jaguars in London in Tottenham Stadium. Yeah, man, so we're looking for people to help us try to get there. So we know if you support the independent grind, you know, a lot of things cost. We don't have a big person behind us throwing us money and things like that. So if you want to support us, we're trying to hit our goal of $3,000 by October 1st. We already damn near halfway there. Shout out to everybody who supported in just these last 3 days. We're basically like 1,400 right now. So any support will be appreciated, man. So scan that right there if you're interested in support. Even if you can't support, tell a friend, send a link so they can support, man. So we appreciate y'all with that, man. We're going to bring in my co-host, my man Dante. Dante, what's going on, bro?
I am solid, my boy. How you feeling?
Doing pretty good. Got the first edition of the new merch. Of course, this will be coming soon. I'm Not Gonna Hold You. Hoodies, t-shirts, barbershare stuff, as you can see on that. So the store is coming. I've been saying the barbershare shop's been coming for 2 years, but no, it's coming within the next 30 days. We know these are like the first what's it called? First, I guess batch. We're gonna change a couple things and things like that. Shout out to everybody who's watching us on Instagram as well. Shout out to IG for giving me my live stream back.
No Orlando.
So no Orlando. These are not going to Dante's lavish penthouse fund. If you didn't know, Dante sells drugs, and that's why he can look over the Mercedes-Benz Stadium from his house. But yeah, man, we got a lot of stuff to get into, man. So let's just get right into it. We're gonna start off with the local hour. As you can see right here, local wow, if you're a Patreon subscriber, that means you get this separately from everybody else. Everybody else don't get this separately, man. So let's just get into our first topic, man. The Chicago Bears. The Bears, week 3 of camp is in the books. This was not a good week. Not a good week of camp whatsoever. It was a very rough one. I'm gonna give y'all my opinion on that. We're gonna talk about camp. We're gonna talk about what the hell is going on with Nate Davis. We're going to talk about Caleb Williams, gonna be debuting tomorrow night or tomorrow afternoon in Buffalo against the Buffalo Bills. We know their starters be playing a full quarter. We don't know. He said Dante's the ghost of ATL. Dante St. Patrick. But we don't know how long that the Bears starters going to play tomorrow because Flu still treats us like we the police. So I'm not too sure how much they're going to play. So we're going to talk about expectations for not just Caleb, but the entire team. And then we're going to recap episode 1 of Hard Knocks. And we're going to talk about my cameo, which I don't feel was appreciated in my group chat this week. And so we're going to give more spotlight to that on my show. But anyway, let's get into it. Week 3 camp. This was a 3-day week of camp. Well, actually, 4-day week. There was practice on Sunday. I didn't go on Sunday. Sunday was real light camp from what I've heard. We had 3 practices Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, 2 padded practices in a row Thursday. I mean, not Friday, but 3 practices in a row Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and the padded practices were Wednesday and Thursday. And Wednesday was a really, really aggressive practice. I know a lot of Bears fans out there have said they don't understand why they feel like camp has been a little light, which I put like this. The fan practices sometimes can be different than the closed practices because they really do like a 45-minute walkthrough, damn near 30, 45-minute walkthrough just for the fans before we're even able to get to the actual warm-ups. They don't always be super, super aggressive on that, but it was a real, real aggressive camp practice on Wednesday. Thursday was actually surprisingly light, which I was kind of disappointed about. I wanted to see back-to-back, tough practices because you're getting ready to play an actual game. Last week don't count. That's Hall of Fame game. Nobody ever plays their starters in the Hall of Fame game, so I was a little bit disappointed about that. But it was a rough week, not just for the offense. I thought the offense got beat down these 2 days, Wednesday and Thursday. Caleb was holding on to the ball a little bit too long. We threw a couple interceptions. Offensive line was in and out. There was a lot of people missing. Tevin Jenkins, Nate Davis, obviously, and we'll get to that nigga in a minute. Coleman Shelton, Ryan Bates, a lot of people in and out. Darnell Wright in and out of the lineup. So there really wasn't any stability. And even look at the defense. The whole secondary, they really, outside of Jalen Johnson, the secondary really didn't practice this week. Tyreek Stevenson was on the bike a lot this week. Kyler Gordon has not practiced in 2 weeks. Went from being something that Flu said was kind of minor, and I still think it's minor. I think if they played today, I played tomorrow, they'd be playing. But he hasn't been out there. Jaquan Brisker wasn't out there this week. It was real, real thin on that. On the defensive front, Montez Sweat didn't practice. So it was a lot of injuries and just a lot of mediocre play from the offense. Well, I won't say I'm concerned. Like Big Dog Mercedes Lewis said in his press conference yesterday after my brother called him old, which was hilarious, that he feels that, this is where you get your kinks out. He's been to, this is 19th, camp. This has been my third camp as a member of the Bears media. And I know a lot of fans they're worried about how it went last year because of how last year's camp went. Even though this camp was a bad week, I'm not going to compare it to last year because last year, it just was, I didn't even see them go deep, like throw the ball deep last year with Justin. They're doing a lot more of that. It just feels like Caleb was going through the regular rookie struggles. So that was my biggest issue this week, where it just was just bad on all fronts. This was not a solid weekend. For week 3, that was kind of concerning, but also you got to put in perspective because, we got 3 more weeks left of this thing. Dante, what's your opinion from everything you heard about this week of camp and any questions you may have for me from being there this week?
This is my thing because we talked about this the first week we started doing this, where we said, what were the expectations, the realistic expectations going into camp? And like we expected the rookie struggles. Do I still expect him to hit the ground running in the regular season? Yeah. But in terms of, right now, this is when he's supposed to struggle. So when I heard people saying the things about this week, I thought it was just a lot of overreactions. That's why I really liked Mercedes Lewis with his response when he was saying, you're going to have good days. You're going to have bad days. You're going to have days where you meet in the middle. Like that's a part of the grind. And as long as Caleb is, taking it all in, growing accustomed to what he has to do and continuing to make those adjustments, I think he'll be fine. So I think a lot of that, is more so people trying to, of course, throw it in the face because you know how the Bears fans are. We still have some people who are so into Justin and so angry about that entire process that they still bring up. Oh, y'all said y'all boy was gonna come in and just start killing it. So you got people that are gonna be extra about it. But for me, it was no real concerns out of anything I heard. They're probably just regular QB struggles. And again, like we continue to say, if our defense is as good as we think it is, that it's kind of a good thing. Like, he's going out there against a top 10 defense, practicing and getting these kinks out and getting these different looks, and they're installing different things. And so as he continues to grow, it'll get to a point where I think they'll be like, practice was great. Or, toward the end of preseason, as we get rolling toward the regular season, you'll have a completely different reports coming out. And even you yourself, like you said, since you are in the building, I think you'll see the flow. You'll see, like we talk about, when people get an opportunity to start picking the speed up, getting the speed of the game, everything that's going on, I think that's definitely going to be a benefit to him. Like him actually playing on Saturday, getting hit, that's going to help him out a lot. So I think it's just typical Bears fan base, a fan base that's just starved for a real QB. We finally got one, and now people are just, want to just be ridiculous about it. So even as high as my expectations are for Caleb, nothing about this week really, shocked me. He should have a rough camp week.
Yeah, and I think you put it the best way, man. Shout out Orlando. He said, "How's Camilla? Camilla's look good. The tight ends, all the skill positions have looked really good. I mean, this is a real big week for the wide receivers. I mean, DJ's always DJ, but Keenan and Rome really shined this week. Komet was great. Gerald Everett is. I've been loving the Gerald Everett pickup since they got him. Living in LA for that long, I've watched a lot of Chargers games. How much of a safety net he was for Justin Herbert. I think it's going to be the same thing for Justin Fields. But I keep telling people, DeAndre Swift is going to be Caleb Williams' safety net. Shout out to Shane O'Mac. He says a new offense too. Got to keep that in mind. Yes, exactly. The defense should be doing this, not only because Caleb is a rookie quarterback. They've been together for a year. They've been, working Fluce's defense for you. That's why Eric Washington come in. It's been such an easy transition for him because all these players know that. And you're right, Dante. Like Bears fans, like there's no point of Bears. I mean, there's no problem with Bears fans, being antsy. Let's be real. Like I'm privileged to be able to see this stuff. A lot of Bears fans, unless you are really blessed to be able to get one of the very few training camp tickets that were out there, you don't really know what's going on. You're going off what I'm saying, what a lot of the other Bears beat is saying. So you're not seeing. So tomorrow's going to be your first view. So I understand that not negativity, but that anxiety, I guess, for the people out there who just want him to be Jesus Christ out the gate because they're mad that Justin got traded. Well, look, he's a rookie quarterback. I'm going to keep saying it. He's a rookie quarterback. I think he's going to be really, really good this year. I think he's going to have a chance to be offensive rookie of the year, and I think this offense is going to be really, really good. But that's going to be ups and downs. But the number one thing that stood out to me is the way the locker room talks about Caleb. And I think that the locker room last year 100% loved Justin. That wasn't even a question. But the way they talked about the actual game of football is different compared to him. Mercedes Lewis said this. Mercedes Lewis has been in the league since I was in high school. He got drafted in 2005. I was a junior in high school and he got drafted. He played with Aaron Rodgers damn his entire career. And they asked him, I think it was my man Jason Leisure from the Sun-Times asked, like, so with the tough week of camp this week, why are you not worried? He said 2 words, Caleb Williams. That's why I'm not worried. So for a veteran to say that tells me that I'm not too much worried about it. But I do want to see some things in tomorrow's preseason game, which we'll get into in just a moment. But I want to talk about the guy that I know Bears fans are fed up with. And I actually given this gentleman a lot of grace. But hey, man, it is Friday, August 9th. And look here, that grace is over, my nigga. Let's bring Nate Davis to the stage, man. Mr. Nate Davis, he was one of Ryan Pohl's prize free agent signings 2 years ago. He had, I think it was like a $35 million contract. He's currently still owed $11 million. There's really nothing they can do about that this year. I hinted that maybe he can be a camp cut. I don't see any way that Ryan Pohl swallows that $11 million, Pauls. I do believe that, this thing could change by how much he plays. And this is something that we saw from Flus this week, which I haven't seen. Flus said that he doesn't believe in the theory that you can't lose your job due to injury. He believes you can. Nate PTO Davis. He's becoming like a certain Australian player for the Brooklyn Nets, Mr. Ben Simmons, but with a lot less talent than Ben Simmons. And the thing to me is this: what he told us yesterday was this: is that he was gearing back up, as we saw him last Saturday at camp. He was, getting back into form or getting back into his routine, but then he felt something tweak, and now he says it's a soft tissue thing, which he said like that. I'm like, okay, whatever the hell that means. And now he's back to week. And to me, I look at it like this, man. Yeah, Fluke sent a message because usually Fluke doesn't talk like this. And the thing to me is, I do believe that it's not going to hurt as much as it did last year, because I think that if anything, I believe Coleman Shelton has the center position locked up. That's just me. That doesn't mean he's going to get it, but from what I've seen, I'm pretty sure Coleman Shelton is going to be a center. I think you just move Ryan Bates to right guard, where he's supposed to be, and just outsolve this thing, because I don't see him helping this team anytime soon. And he has to put up enough. And if you have a rookie quarterback, and of course, nothing's going to be perfect, but you want him to have as stable as an offensive line as you possibly can have. So that's the thing that I'm worried about. And honestly, if there's more to the story, the Bears need to tell us more, because even with the injury, they're being so tight-lipped. And I'll give the Bears organization this credit. They have been more open this offseason than usual, but they're still being very tight-lipped with the injuries. And it's like what Flu said was probably the only actual deep look into what's actually happening. And I want to know what's going on, because I'm personally sick of it, not just as a fan. I'm sick of it as a media person. I'm tired of people asking me all the time, first time we come out of practice, me and my brother, like, let me see where 64 is at. Oh, he's over there on the bike. Like, he's over there with the rope jumping and stuff. Like, I'm tired of him, man. Just the Bears need to figure out what they're going to do with him and stick with it, because anything else, you're holding the rest of the team back. And if I'm the other offensive lineman, I'm like, why does this nigga get that many days off? I'd be upset. That's personally how I feel about it. And obviously the fan base has been very, very vocal about that. We've seen it in our mentions consistently these last couple of weeks. But Dante, what you think about this Nate Davis situation?
I mean, this is something that I think you hit the nail on the head when you said if it wasn't for the 11 million, that he might be a camp casualty and get cut. But because there's so much money invested, you can't really go that route right now. But I mean, it's disappointing, but I think it's also why you brought in Ryan Bates. We've talked about Ryan Poles and the fact that he was an offensive lineman, so he knows how important building this thing up through the trenches is. And he's talked about, that being one of the things he wanted to do. So you bring in Bates, you bring in Sheldon. I think the biggest concern, is Nate Davis. Like, this is consistently what he's done. He did it in Tennessee. It was the reason he got put out of Tennessee. Vrabel hated the fact that this is how he practiced. This was his work ethic. And a lot of times, I think football is one of those few sports where you practice how you play. So if you're sitting here doing, BS like this, we get what we get during the regular season, which is, pretty much the league average right guard. So I think with Nate, it's going to be a thing. Nate going to find his ass on the bench. That's what it's going to come down to.
And I actually have the quote here from Mr. Mike Vrabel. It says, this is from, I forgot what article it's from. Why the Titans should let Davis walk. Davis made a career low 12 starts in 2022. Davis battled through multiple lower body injuries and was constantly in and out of the lineup. Davis hasn't played a full season since 2020. Now, this is 2 years ago, so now this is 4 years now. The Titans will certainly take Davis' injury history account when deciding whether or not to sign him. And this is what Vrabel said. Mike Vrabel said, we also don't know how they feel about Davis' workout. Mike Vrabel said, I don't have any idea if Davis is one of the guys. He said they have 9 to 5 guys and some that aren't 9 to 5 guys. And so he kind of like went away with kind of some subliminals. But if you got a guy like Mike Vrabel who comes from a championship organization like the New England Patriots, and he knows about work ethic, that tells you everything they do right now. And as great as Ryan Poles has been putting this roster together, and you got to give him a hell of a love for the way he's put this together in just 2 years. Just think about what his roster was this time 2 years ago. My first camp, bro. Like when we had, even though Dante Pettis is there now, but Dante Pettis, N'Keal. Remember we were waiting for N'Keal Harry week 8? Like this nigga was Randy Moss or something. Like it was.
We just swore that was the answer. Wait till Harry come back, boy. Like no.
He's a big wide receiver. It don't mean if you can't catch. So like that's the stuff that Justin had to work with 2 years ago. So to get the roster from there to where it is now, phenomenal. But he leaves a lot to be desired with the offensive line, man. Let's talk about the actual offensive line now, dude. What's your concern level right now with the offensive line?
Due to the fact that injury was my main concern and these motherfuckers are getting hurt, I would say it's like a 7.5. Because I mean that's the one position where even though I trust Paul's eye for talent because he drafted both of our tackles, Braxton and Darnell, and so him going to the quote unquote bargain bin and just going to get a couple people here, a couple people there. I didn't like it at first. I still kind of think we should have spent a little money there, but at the end of the day, I trust bro. So if he's gonna actually go that route and not bring anybody else in, I think that the people that he's brought in, like I said, with Bates and Shelton, they'll be serviceable, but I don't want serviceable at this point. Like we got Caleb and the majority of our skilled players locked in for a while. So it's like, let's fix the trenches and make sure this offense can really, grow together. So, I would have liked to seeing them, like I said, get a young offensive lineman in there. I know we still gonna have money. We still gonna have picks next year, so it's possible to add more. But so, like I said, due to the fact that injury was my primary concern, I'm gonna go 7.5.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I think I'm pretty in the 7.5 range right now. I'll be 8 depending on how tomorrow goes. But my biggest issue, and I said this coming to us, that I was still worried about the trenches, both sides of the trenches, because I feel like on the defensive side, to be honest, and I hate to say this, it's Montez Sweat and the Temptations. Let's just be real about it. Until I actually see that as great of a camp as Gervon is having, I need to see that in play time. DeMarcus Walker is a very let's just say loud individual. Hopefully that carries into this season. He said last year he was hurt 75% of the season. Maybe it carries this time. You need that. I'm still worried about that. But the offensive line, I feel like when they're healthy, now who fucking knows if they'll ever be healthy? But when they're healthy, I believe it can be a decent group. Like you said, Dante, this is not an elite group. I see nowhere this ever been an elite group, even with it being healthy. I think at its peak, it's maybe a number 10, 11 O-line group in the NFL. And that, to believe, has to change. Now, the same thing with there's 3 positions that just don't grow on trees. Quarterbacks, defensive linemen, and offensive linemen. Those just don't grow on trees. So the best offensive linemen are locked up unless you draft you one. It looks like Darnell Wright is one of those guys. Who knows? Maybe they go on and get them next year. But I don't think that this is something where last year, I think this is a much deeper offensive line than last year. We still have, I can't pronounce the rookie's name, who they drafted him. Hopefully they get some of him, even though the Bears drafted him, knowing he had a quad problem. But I do think there's a little bit more depth on this offensive line than it was in years past. But I'm concerned, and the concerns that I have with anything with this team, whether it's on the offensive front or whatever, I'm not ready to go in a panic mode until I see it in games. So we got these next 3 games coming up, or maybe 3. I don't know if Flus is gonna say fuck the 3rd game, and we'll get in that in a minute. But I'll say my worry. I won't say I'm not at a 7 or 8. Let me change that. I'm like at a 6. Ask me 48 hours from now. That might change. Right now, I'm at a 6, and I'm not even looking at and Nate Davis being a factor until he's actually out there, man. I think the offensive line that we've seen these last couple of days with Tevin Jenkins, Darnell Wright, Coleman Shelton, Ryan Bates, and Braxton Jones is going to be your offensive line when week 1 rolls around, man. So let's talk about Mr. Caleb Williams. Caleb Williams, big week, man. Big week coming up for Mr. Caleb. He will be making his NFL preseason debut tomorrow, noon Central Time on Fox and NFL Network. If you're not in the Chicagoland area, my guy Adam Amin will be on the call with Jim Miller on the call as well. Said I forgot we played Trubisky tomorrow. Actually, we're even playing Josh Allen tomorrow. Because Josh Allen will be playing a full quarter. Him and the rest of the starters, like Sean McDermott said. So yeah, Bajent will be going up against Trubisky 100%. But talk about expectations. No, it's been a big week. A lot of interviews. He did 2 big interviews this week. Stacy, it was a very, very busy week at Hallis Hall. Outside of the 2 padded practices being fan practices, all 3 practices this week were fan practices. Yeah, NFL Network contingent was really, really heavy there this week. Stacey Dale's got a shot. Stacey, she does great work for the NFC North with the NFL Network. She was there always, but Ian Rappaport was there out there this week. Steve Smith was there this week working with the Hard Knocks crew. I don't know if that's something that you'll see in a future episode, but he was up there. Big Cat Williams, Bears alumni, he was there a couple days ago. Kay Adams was there. My man Staley, the Bears mascot, gave me a dap, and then I went to talk to my woman, but that's a whole different conversation. We're gonna get to that later. But anyway, I tried to say what up, but Bears security looked like they was gonna flex me, so I let it pass. I'm gonna keep walking by. They looked like they was gonna flex me, so I just kept walking while they did the Caleb interview. But big week for Caleb, and now you've got his his debut tomorrow. What are you expecting to see tomorrow, and what do you want to see tomorrow from Caleb?
It's preseason, so it's kind of like the NBA Summer League. I don't really expect a lot. We keep comparing him to CJ. CJ had a terrible first preseason game. So I think more than anything, what I expect to see is a lot like, even though it was weather last night, the way the Patriots did with Drake May. But he was handing the ball off. He made a couple throws, but, it was nothing too crazy. Screen passes. Really get his feet wet. I want to see how much they put him under center, because he hasn't done it a lot. So I want to see how much he does that, how comfortable he is with that out the gate. But yeah, I don't expect much, because I don't think they're going to give him the opportunity to do much. It's his first, like you said, first real NFL action. And it's not, NFL action. So I think they'll, like I said, just try to get his feet wet, get him acclimated to calling plays, being in the center. So in those maybe 8 to 10 plays, I think he's going to play. He'll probably throw the ball three times, maybe 4 max. So I don't expect too much out of that from that aspect.
I would be extremely pissed if that nigga throws the ball only 4 times more. That's my biggest concern about it, is they take this a little bit too lightly. You know what I'm saying? Like, I understand it's preseason, but I am still scarred. And I wish Mikey was here, because Mikey would with me with I told you so. But I'm still scarred from the way last year's preseason. Now I get the entire NFL treats the preseason like whatever. We all know the first month of the season is actually the de facto preseason, damn it, the way people treat it now. But the Bears don't get to don't get to move the rest of the way the rest of the NFL does, because you have historically bad offense for your entire time as being a franchise. I want to see him actually throw that ball. I don't want to see handoffs to DeAndre Swift more than he's throwing the ball. Throw the pill, man. I want to see an actual culture from Caleb Williams tomorrow. I put it like this: if they just decide to actually use the third preseason game or the fourth preseason game against Kansas City, then okay, I have no problem with 2 series tomorrow. Then you do maybe a half next week against Cincinnati, and then a couple plays against Kansas City. I have no problem if you plan to use that. But if you go off the way that Fluce's worked, and not just Fluce, but Matt Nagy as well, they don't ever use that last preseason game. So I wanted to get enough reps. I know there's concerns about injury. I get that. This is football, though. You can keep a quarterback in bubble wrap, and the same thing happened what happened to Aaron Rodgers last year, where you get injured and play number 4 week 1. He needs to get as many reps as possible. If Bears fans want the season that they want, I feel like winning week 1 is a necessity. Now, granted, 17 games, it's only 1 of 17. But you want to go out there and win that game against Tennessee at home before you go on a tough environment in Houston on Sunday Night Football, first primetime game of the season, and you come right back around. Indianapolis ain't going to be no scrub team either. You got the Rams. That first month is not easy. I don't know why any Bears fans out there think this is going to be an easy first month. No. So I want as many reps as possible from Caleb. Now, whether we get that, Dante, you're right, is a different, but that's what I want to see, even though it's just a preseason game.
12-5 loading, bro. Relax. Relax, dog.
12-5 loading.
You gotta calm down.
What's your expectations for the rest of the team outside of Caleb for tomorrow? Similar. It's the first preseason game, so I don't expect too much. I want to see what some of the guys who really show flashes in the Hall of Fame game do. Because like you said, even though preseason is one thing, I think the Hall of Fame game is damn near a step back from preseason, because it's not a lot of real energy like that. It's just a few people trying to make a team, but at the same time,
it's the Hall of Fame game. They know nobody of significance is really playing in this game. Like you saw on Hard Knocks when Buddy got hurt, the first thing the coach said, like, who next? Like, it wasn't a real damn he hurt type of shit. So similar to Caleb, I expect them to just, get everybody in the groove. This defense is in, like you said, now year 2 under Flus and just getting everybody acclimated. But I mean, at the same time, a lot of starters won't take too many snaps. So really just seeing what players who are, on the bubble or, potential, not only potential cuts, but trying to come up in the roster. Like, I hate that Cal Gordon has been out because that's somebody I really think can take a really, really big leap this year. So that's somebody I wanted to watch and see him even in preseason. So as a whole, as a team, just really seeing how they adjust to the system, the offense especially. It's a new offense. So I want to see, obviously, it's going to be a lot of vanilla stuff, nothing too crazy, but just seeing how those starters and those second string guys do play in the moments where they get chances to make a play.
I'll keep this quick, and we'll go on to the second part of this Bears discussion. I'm looking forward to a battle there's really nobody really talking about like that. This backup QB battle. There's 4 quarterbacks on the roster right now outside of Caleb Williams. I think I don't want to fuck up the dude's name. I think his name is Ryan Lewis, the rookie quarterback. I'm pretty sure I put this first name up. But there's Tyson Bagent, and there's also Brett Rippon. Brett Rippon had a really good game last week in the Hall of Fame game, throwing 3 touchdowns. Tyson Bagent had a really good pass these last couple of days. So I'm interested to see who's going to be the Bears backup. That's something I'm going to be interested to watch as well tomorrow. Offensive line, obviously, I'm going to see. And I also want to see just how many people on the defense are going to play tomorrow. I personally am not expecting to see, obviously, Kyler Gordon's not going to play. I'm not expecting to see Tyreek Stevenson. I'm not expecting to see Jaquan Brisker. Not expecting to see Montez Sweat. So I'll see how many of those guys actually get out there. But really, I'm also going to be looking at Shane Waldron's play call. Now, granted, he's going to be throwing a whole bunch of vanilla stuff out there. He's not going to be throwing the big gun plays that he's going to be using during the regular season. But I do want to see how it actually looks. I thought last week for a Hall of Fame game, it looked normal to me to the point where I didn't even pay attention to it. So I want to see what his play call is going to look like tomorrow. So that's really what I'm going to be looking for in the game outside of Caleb, man. So let's go on to our next Bears topic. We're going to bring Courtney in about 30 minutes. We're unfortunately going to be talking about, I don't say unfortunately, I don't give a fuck about the niggas. Unfortunately for Dante, we'll be talking about the Chicago White Sox firing their manager. But Hard Knocks, Chicago Bears made its debut this past Tuesday on HBO Max. First time the Bears have been on there in show history. The show's been going on for 24 years now. They have not been on there. First episode, my initial thoughts. Actually, before we get to that, let's talk about my cameo. I'm all about self here. Let's talk about my little couple second cameo we had on here. Nikhil, roll the footage. I don't feel like the group chat really honored me when I put this in here. Well, look who we see right here. That is me in that corner.
It depends on the day.
Right there.
It depends on the day.
I'm telling you, I put this in the group chat thing. People are like, oh, damn, look, Scott's legs. I'm like, no, I got nothing in the chat. These niggas will continue to talk about baseball. So we're going to roll that again one more time. We're going to play that one more time. We see right here. That is me in that corner.
It depends on the day.
Right there.
It depends on the day.
There we go. I'm going to put Scott Lewis as seen on HBO's Hard Knocks in my bio.
This nigga. No, I mean, I feel you, though. I just feel like if that was episode 1, there has to be a larger cameo coming soon. Like,
yeah, there's got to be.
It's going to be fucking you and Joe walking to field 3 or some shit. Like,
yeah,
I expect it to happen at this point.
Because them cameras been looking at me like this, like at the side, man. But what's some things that you liked and disliked from the first episode?
I won't say I dislike too many things. Caleb does seem kind of boring, like, which I think is a good thing. Like, I think that's actually a great thing because I think he really is focused on football, and he is the football savant that everybody says he is. Because you can just tell he kind of lights up when he starts talking about X's and O's with people. Like even like you said, his interview with Shorty. When he was talking to Stephen A and everybody, like when he actually starts talking about football, you can kind of tell he really knows what he's talking about and he loves it. So I think Caleb was kind of boring. DJ has a little personality. We know Keenan has personality. He was on Masked Singer and all that other shit. Buddy, who pulled the Speedo out singing the Proud to be an American. You know,
Oh,
that was clever, but that felt kind of forced. So I was like, yeah, they could have kept that. Flus, even though I like I said, me personally, Flus is growing on me. Some of the shit he was saying just seemed kind of corny. He's like, you guys are grinders. You're that grinders in here. And I'm just like, okay, nigga. Like, let's go
definitely
to
a
the
lot of
practice
Madden
together.
coach speak.
Yeah, like, it was crazy. I could have done for more Nick Saban because I like Nick Saban be dropping bars on niggas. Like Nick be dropping heat on niggas, and he said some shit. So like I really enjoyed Nick Saban being there. The best part to me was the Caleb intro. Like the Caleb intro when they had the Michael Jordan, they brought back Buddy from the Bulls.
Ray
That was
Clay, the
hard.
legend.
Yeah, I like that a lot. Yeah, winning doesn't make you a winner. Like, you know, it was just like, okay, coach. Like,
Dominic Toretto disagrees. Winning is winning. In the words of the legend.
Whether you win by an inch or win by a mile, winning is winning.
Winning's winning. And Flus does give corny dad vibes.
Yeah, 100%.
I had a comment about one of them scenes, but I'm going to keep that for Patreon.
Yeah, I mean, please do. But no, it's one of those things where, yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. But no, it's like it's one of those things. He said it's corny dad, so it's like you don't hate the guy, but it's like okay, dude, all right,
yeah. For me, man, what I liked was just how everything got put together. I think the number one thing was, I kind of was a little disappointed. Not had nothing to do with the show because I was excited, I was hyped. I watched it a couple times, but I feel like if I was just strictly fan, I will be on Patreon. Subscribe to the Patreon, man, to check out what I got. I'll say it on Summer Sessions on Tuesday because I can't say it on here. But yeah, so I was disappointed because a little bit just for me personally because if I didn't have the media hat on, oh man, I was hyped, but I'd have been 50 times more hyped if I was just like fan, just because the Bears never showed it. I think me being there jaded me a little bit because I kind of knew what to expect. The only question was what they were going to add, what they weren't going to add. I love the intro. Of course, the Hard Knocks intro music is legendary. The Hard Knocks not commentator, but narrator is legendary. But I like how they mixed it with the Bears being on the Chicago lake and, you know, all of them on the boat and, you know, all the fans with their Bears colors and like a mix of like audio from all of the former Bears, you know what I'm saying? Like whether it was the Urlacher Hester era, you know, you can hear a couple of my favorites, Mike Singletary. I like this, my kind of party, or Bill Murray, the refrigerator. Like I like how they mixed everything together. And I love the drone shots of the city. It just shows you how beautiful Chicago is. Like on like Insecure, the TV show, I love how they made LA look from like a drone wick, and they really did the same thing with Chicago here, which I loved. Even though I hate the Cubs, the shot of Wrigley Field was chef's kiss. That was great. It was dope to see, you know, some of the people on the team who I know personally, to see them get some cameos in there as well. That was dope. But the number one thing that stole it from me was, go ahead, Dante, my bad.
No, go ahead. What's your number one thing?
My number one thing is what you said, the Chicago Bulls said. The Bulls theme music is so amazing that you forget that the current Bulls are mediocre. Like it just gives you like chills. And to bring back the original announcer, Ray Clay, who hasn't done the Bulls intro like since the Dynasty years. That was dope. And just like you said, Caleb is boring. 100% Caleb is boring. Caleb a little corny, but I want my quarterback to be corny. I want my quarterback to listen to ordinary people. You know, that nigga was 2 when that song came out. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want him to do that. I loved how the fans, but the team booed him. Like, Ted's throwing paper at him. And Tyson Bagent's reaction to, him saying his signing bonus is 25.5. That was dope. But I just loved how you kind of see, you said I want to see more polls. I'm pretty sure you'll get more polls than Kevin Warren. Kevin Warren looking at Kevin Warren was looking at the DJ contract like a Stringer Bell when he was in college. You know what I'm saying? And so he said, no, them niggas ass ain't no forgetting that. But, he was looking at that. So they had a little bit. I think you'll probably get more of them later. But I just really love how they put everything together. I know some people out there like, well, are they putting too much pressure on Caleb? This is why I don't care about that. You either know how to play football or you don't. You're either good at or you don't. If there's anything knocking the
time out. Nick, nigga, did you change your name?
Yeah, I didn't change that. Nikhil changed that. Shout out to Nikhil. As seen on HBO's Hard Knocks. Shout out to the producer. Shout out as seen on HBO. Give me my credit. We're gonna keep that
That's
up here a little bit.
crazy.
As seen on HBO's Hard Knocks. I'm gonna update my IMDb. But anyway, I don't really care about the pressure thing. If you know how to play or you don't know how to play, I think that Caleb is pretty. People gotta understand Caleb. Chicago pressure is different. But he's been a topic of conversation since he got in college. Oklahoma is no small college. You know what I'm saying? USC is LA's professional team. Not the Rams, not the Chargers. It is the USC Trojans. And last year was a terrible year for them last year. So a lot of niggas who had USC jerseys in the Roscoe's parking lot who were not happy with the way them niggas playing last year. So he's dealt with this kind of thing. He's so media trained. I don't think the Bulls music or comparing to Michael Jordan is gonna phase the kid. He's either gonna be good or he's not gonna be good. As far as dislike, wasn't really nothing I had dislike. I think it was just really, really well done. I think as each week goes by, we'll see more and more stuff. I do wonder if they're going to show next week when Rome looked like he saw Jesus when the tornado sirens went off. They were testing. I didn't know that they tested in the suburbs. I didn't know till Bear Skitty told us. But they were testing the tornado sirens. Rome was literally right in front of me, like doing his work. He's like, bro, what the fuck is that? And I just started laughing. I was like, tornado. And then Keenan was like, we got to get up out of here. So I wonder if they're going to show that next week. But I personally loved it. You kind of talked about the flu thing a little bit, but not just from this. I think a little bit of what you've seen from this is just interviews that we've seen more. Do you think the Flus is on the way to convincing people that he's an actual NFL head coach?
Yeah, I think, and it's from the standpoint of that, he's doing all the other shit that we talk about coaches doing, but we don't really see them do it. Like the way you interact with people, the way, you galvanize your staff and your players and get them all on the same page. Like I said, we may be sitting here saying it was corny, everything he was saying, but if the team buys into it and it's working, then what can you really say? So, I think at this point with Caleb and how young he is in his development, how early it is in his development, that's going to be important. So I think he definitely is giving off the vibe like, he is a people person. He is a leader of men, and that's what it's going to take that's what it takes to be a good head coach. Every head coach is not an X's and O's guy, even though he was calling defense and we like him calling the defense. But at the same time, you have to do those other things. His staff, we were shitting on him last year, so let's not just, because we like what we see so far, forget how bad that staff was. And
10 people got fired. 10 people got fired.
10 people got fired. Like that's crazy. And so, so that's still in the back of our minds. But at the same time, when you see him actually interacting with the team, you see why he's still there. And he had that job security that we were all wondering about. But it seems like he has a great rapport with everybody, and that's how you build continuity, and that's how you really build a winner. So I think he is. He really is on his way to doing that.
Shane O'Mac said, and Caleb field swag, but I think his field swag is decent. My brother don't like his field swag. The only issue I have is if you're gonna wear the long sleeves, you can't wear the short joints with them. That look huff. I'm not gonna lie. But besides that, the nigga need a haircut though. 100%. At least get lined up, my boy. You looking real cavemanish right now. But
hopefully he on this whole shit. He got the scruff look, and then once he know the playbook and he start rocking, then he get the shave. Like do your thing, man. Jay Cutler is our best quarterback, people. Like, I don't give a fuck if he wears sweatsuits everywhere. I don't care. Like, I do not care. I promise you. I don't care. Like, who else said that shit? Somebody else was like, man, I remember when you said that, because he wears the little cutoffs.
Yeah,
like he took the sweatpants and cut the
the cutoffs is crazy. Yeah,
I don't care, bro.
The cutoffs is crazy.
Field.
Like,
throw that football.
That's true, but I also like, look, man, Jalen Johnson's on field swag has stepped up tremendously this year. Maybe because the number switch, one looks much better than 33, which what that former police officer wore for the Bears. Yeah. Go ahead.
No, I'll just say something that you can agree with. My boy had plenty of on-field swag last year. So let's not
yes, true,
so let's not act like y'all want that now. Like, don't do it now. Like, come on. We want a quarterback.
That's true. Justin did have great on-field swag. Who's the best quarterback with worst? It's got to be Peyton Manning. Peyton Manning has the most swaggerless
them big ass
On-field
sleeves.
swag. Oh my! Especially when he went to Denver, he had them fat gloves on. Yeah,
Yeah,
it
because he
don't
had the
matter.
nerve issue, so he had to wear 2 gloves. That was terrible.
Yeah, man. Yeah,
Him
man.
and Phillip Rivers.
Phillip Rivers was mid. Aaron Rodgers ain't great either. He just was cold. So you're right about that. I'll say this about Flus, man. That nigga got a good house. Oh my god, that house looks like some Bruce Wayne type stuff, bro.
No, it looked like the joint off what's that show? What's that Tommy show where the Irishman lived?
You talking about on Force?
Yeah, on Force, like right off the lake. Like, no, that joint was nice.
Yeah, the white family on there. I forgot what that name was. It definitely looked. It said Justin Advisor. Yeah, they couldn't see 30 yards down. But anyway,
unnecessary.
And is it unnecessary? Or am I telling the truth? I'm rooting for Justin.
Hey, I'm about to say that Oakland Raiders offense ain't looking good. So I mean,
what? Yeah, that's right. The Raiders got the best uniforms. Raiders got an amazing stadium, and they got Gardner Minshew. Brett Favre swag wasn't worse than Peyton Manning.
It was up there though. Brett Favre played like he was drunk. Like he just put his uniform on and just went out there. Fuck it, let's go.
Forget about Phil Favre in the 90s. Phil Favre in the 90s.
It do
like the same house. Hey, what if they shot power at Flu's house?
Hey,
that's a question.
I ain't mad at
Get a check, Flus. Like, so that wouldn't shock me whatsoever. But before we bring Courtney on in a couple minutes, one last Bears topic. What do you want to see going forward in the next 4 episodes of Hard Knocks?
We always know they have their built-in storylines. I think right now, clearly, number 80, his last name is Johnson. I can't forget his first name. He's going to be one of those guys that, they're going to follow, especially after the performance he had in the Hall of Fame game. So seeing how the wide receiver room interacts, because they usually go room to room. So seeing how they interact with Rome, what they're pouring into Rome, seeing how Keenan is working with him, because we all know how great of a route runner Keenan is. So seeing that, and like we talked about, I'm interested in the running backs too, especially because like you told us, Bayless has been in the backfield a lot.
Yeah.
So I want to see what that's like if they're trying to get a little Cordell Patterson, Devo Sanders type of thing going with him. So that's really it. Because I mean the storylines are the storylines. They built it. So we know what we're gonna get from that.
Shane O'Mac, Donovan McNabb's swag was terrible. Donovan McNabb was what did Ross say? This monkey's swaggerless. That every time that Donovan McNabb will come on, don't get me started on Donovan McNabb. I'm trying to be a media man and not my thoughts about Donovan McNabb. I used to be such a massive fan of Donovan, bro.
I think a lot of us did.
Oh, such a massive fan. Then he left T.O. hanging in the Super Bowl. I never forgave that nigga. I never forgave him. T.O.'s out there on one leg, busting him. This nigga throwing up. Anyway, he said more Rome and DJ. Yeah, I want to see more Rome and DJ. Even though this don't have nothing to do with Hard Knocks, I'm glad you brought it up, Dante. I meant to say this in what I was expecting tomorrow's game. Vilas. He played running back all week.
Damn, all week?
All week he played running back. So it's because Roshan didn't practice at all this week. So Vilas was at running back all week with him and DeAndre Swift and Travis Homer. And Flu said he's gonna play a running back tomorrow. So this is like the last chance for Vilas. So I want to see that, but I also want to know who's going to be the player who's probably gonna get cut that we fall in love with. That's who I want to see a 4XL jersey. That's why every year we have 1 or 2 players on Hard Knocks who probably not gonna make the team, but they got a good family. He got a good story, all that. That's what I want to see. He said Velo Samuels. Velo Samuels.
I think like I said, I don't know if we're gonna fall in love with him because it was just kind of corny, but I think Buddy, who strained his hamstring, he had a grade 2 hamstring. He's out there in all the camp. So he might get cut.
Bro, Poles looks so sick. When that nigga like he swallowed a gun. That nigga, oh my god, like that blew me too. But yeah, so that's what I want to see. And also, as you can see right here, I want to be seeing more HBO's Hard Knocks. I'll change my name when we get into the second hour. We gonna rock it for the rest of y'all because y'all gonna respect mine. But let's move on to the south side of the city, 35th and Shields. We're gonna bring in Miss Courtney Collabro to talk some baseball. Courtney, how are you feeling?
Don't I look like I got a little bit more color to the face?
Yes, you do.
Brother, I was down fucking.
You were down and out.
I was down horrendous, but I was here.
You were here. You put in a flu game.
I think my body knew that I had to be well enough to deliver the smoke to both Pedro Grifol and all the folks on the White Sox. So
we are going to talk about the team that I used to root for, the Chicago White Sox. I'm glad I delivered myself. Courtney has always told us to deliver ourselves from the Bears, which I will never do, but I did deliver myself from 35th and Fields.
Not now. Unlike the White Sox, the Bears are actually making efforts to improve.
Exactly.
Something that those bums at 47th and Shields can't relate to.
It's 35th and Shields, but you know what? They don't need to have a correct address. They don't deserve to have the address correct.
That's what I meant.
Dante, do you want to go first? I wish Mikey was here to give his opinion, but or do you want Courtney? Let's give the
No, you got it. I'm not a native. That's all you.
Well, no. As much as I want to get excited,
you don't know what to say.
I don't know what to say because I feel like I gave it all I had last week when we shit on them. So, shout out to Grady Sizemore. I'm glad he's getting it done.
Are you shocked that it happened at this particular point in the season?
No, I'm not. I think because like Jerry likes to hide from the fact that he's a laughing stock, but once it's right on Main Street and you can't deny it, and it's gotten to the point if you realize people don't even talk about the Oakland A's anymore. Like when they talk about shitty baseball, they talk about the White Sox. Like you've become that team in America. So I think once it got to that level, he was like, okay, I gotta do something. And like I said, shout out to Grady because I think him getting an opportunity is dope. Hopefully he will move on after this. They said they're gonna hire somebody from outside the franchise, which means just look out for anybody on the fucking Kansas City Royals coaching staff. They're probably gonna go try to grab one of them. That's just what they do. But Pedro had to go. He was a guy who came in and said that we're gonna change the culture, we're gonna play hard, we're gonna hustle, and they did none of those things. Like a few weeks ago, you had a report come out. They said they had to go to guys and say, hey guys, we're gonna make sure before the game we do a little base running and batting practice. Now, how you have to tell professionals to go to batting practice is absolutely insane.
Insanity.
That's what you're working with. So I don't have too many high hopes for Grady. They did call up Oscar Colas like 10 minutes after they fired Pedro. So I mean, he was clearly the one not holding him back. So I just want to see what they do. Hopefully they call up some of the young guys, give them some opportunities so we can see what we're actually working with. But in terms of Pedro, he should have never been the manager. You have
Schumacher is wild.
Yeah, he's fucking. He has like a 40%.
I feel bad for here. I feel bad for the person that comes next because there's really no good way out of this. And whoever takes this job is just like, you would think, oh, this is a great opportunity for someone to show like, oh, that they can turn something into nothing. You can't turn this current roster into anything. And again, it's really one of those situations where it's like, it's not the apples' fault, the apples on the tree's fault that they're rotten, Like it starts at the fucking roots. And that's what Jerry Reinsdorf. Really, like you said last week, Scott, really riding out the good faith of those 6 championships that he gave the Bulls. And that's it.
That Michael Jordan gave
Rod Thorne gave us those.
Yeah, right. Yeah, he had nothing to do with drafting Michael Jeffrey Jordan whatsoever. I'm gonna say this, man. First of all, one people I feel bad for, the actual Sox fans who still watch this mess. Like I said before, and I'm keep saying this, I don't feel bad for Dante or Mikey. I told them that the Titanic was sinking and nobody wanted to listen to me. The rest of y'all niggas who still go to these games and watch these niggas.
2021 was a special time.
That was 3 years ago. You know what else happened? It really wasn't. The first half of 2021 was really good. Let's talk about that.
It was horrible.
It was nice. That team was
they were not.
No,
they were terrible.
That was a good-looking team.
Gee,
that team, guys.
After
go through that team
bro.
Right now from like 2020 and 2021. Go through those teams and do like a VH1 Where Are They Now episode. I would watch.
All out the league.
They're half DFA, like they're unemployed. That's what they are.
No. We got your means on his way back. Don't even worry about it. He's on his way back right now.
Look, if you look at that team after Father's Day 2021, that was a 500 baseball club. They were not good. They should have got swept by Houston. They had that little lucky comeback against them. Don't even start on that. Anyway,
They used to beat up on the Detroit Tigers. That's why they would win games. That's why they won games, and they only won like 85 games or some shit. They would. I don't want to talk about this. Like,
we can move on. I really don't.
Best moment of the era was the corn game.
I really don't have too much to say, honestly, like about the White Sox. With Pedro Grifol, they were on pace to finish 139 or the 39 and 122 or something like that. 123. If I'm doing the math correctly, that's fucking atrocious. That would put them on pace with like the second worst losing record of all time. Like it's just pathetic. And the fact that honestly, people listen, I'm not saying to let anybody steal your joy. If going to watch baseball brings you joy, I don't know, maybe like Milwaukee's like 90 minutes away. It's like an hour and a half. Maybe go watch the Better Ball Club. Even just, I'm not even gonna say on the other side of town because
no, you can't. Them niggas stink too.
Cubs suck too. I don't know. Go to Milwaukee. I don't know what else to tell you, but I think giving money to people that don't deserve it, and especially ownership that clearly has shown you time and time and again that they don't value your money because he's not turning it into something worth seeing. I just don't think that benefits you as a fan. That's all I'm saying.
I'm gonna say this. I would rather take my hard-earned money, ride down Cicero, and go watch the Kane County Cougars before I pay to watch the fucking White Sox again. Like at this point, I just can't do it.
What are the real cats doing these days?
It's time to find out. Let's go to Gary. Shit, like because I just can't do it, bro. It's really bad. Like it's that bad, and it's insane how quick it's falling. And Scott said this is a joke, and now it's really pissing me off. But like, Eloy is hitting like 500 for the Baltimore Orioles, which is insanity.
We just haven't seen him trip over air in that left field yet. That's all.
No, he's only DHing. They have a brain.
I'm saying we haven't seen it happen yet.
What did little Boosie daughter say? I told y'all niggas. Y'all thought I was lying, but I told y'all niggas. Look, he finna be Mr. October. Watch. I'm telling you right now. What's gonna happen this postseason is Michael Kopech gonna find out what command looks like, and you're also gonna have it's gonna be like Game 5 of the ALDS. These niggas is locked in with the Yankees, and you're gonna hear whoever on the call, and that ball's going deep. Eloy Jimenez, the biggest home run of his life, and the Orioles advance. And I'm gonna come in the chat and I'm gonna laugh. That's what I'm gonna do because it is above me now. As far as I really feel bad. Shout out my homies in the 108. Shout out my man Beef Loaf, everybody over there. I know they still watch those games and everything like that, man. And there's a lot of people still go to the park. Jay Reinsdorf's not getting a dime for me on 35th and Shields and on Madison, even though I still watch the Bulls because at least they gave me a decade of fun. You know what I'm saying? At least played in my face like they wanted to make the playoffs when I was an adult. You know what I'm saying? At least I give him that. Yeah, nigga still not getting. I'm not going to no Bulls games, nigga. I'm not buying no Bulls merch. He's not getting any money from me, period, on either team. But if you look at what the White Sox are, I don't think people understand. What they lose? 22 games in a row?
21.
Like, 21. What are we doing? Like, you could even slip up. Even the worst teams slip into a 4-game winning streak. What's the most games they won in a row this year?
2, maybe. 2.
I feel like saying 3 is going out on the limb.
Right now they are still on. They're on pace to win 39 games. There's not a whole lot of winning streaks that you can compile when you're on pace to literally only win from where you are right now, like 12 more games. That's crazy.
That's insane. That's
I like my brain behavior. As far as like again, we shit on the A's, which as we should, right? Like their ownership group is fucking atrocious as well. But like at least they put together a relatively competitive season. If their rotation was even like somewhat together, if they had maybe 2 decent starting pitchers, that's a solid looking fucking lineup in Oakland. Can't say the same about the boys on the South Side. It's fucking rough.
It's terrible, man. It's terrible, and I really feel bad for niggas, man. I really do. Cause it's like, bro, I moved on. It was the greatest move of my decision in my life as a fan to not watch these bum niggas anymore. But I do feel bad for my fans. And shout out my boy Mike from Pillars. He texted me yesterday. It's like, oh, don't let the Bears distract you from the fact that the White Sox have 28 wins. I was like, what you telling me for? Ain't got nothing to do with me. I don't care what them niggas got. But
real quick,
go ahead,
Scott. I want to throw a question out there to the group. Cleanse ourselves of this White Sox foolishness. Major League Baseball announced today that they're gonna have a motor speedway game. How y'all feel about that?
A motor speedway game.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're playing at the motor speedway.
I mean, I find it interesting simply from, again, we think about the decisions that any corporation makes, right? It's all just social currency, right? They don't actually care about the things that they posture themselves behind, right? So like Major League Baseball taking that game, the All-Star game out of Atlanta, but like, ain't it coming back? Right?
Yep,
but nothing had actually changed, but they took it away from them for, I don't know, I guess like a hand slap moment that didn't actually amount to anything. And now you're about to reward a major event, what could possibly be the largest attendance in Major League Baseball, like 100,000+ people possibly attending this baseball game in a state that's like constantly stripping away rights and actively stripping away voting rights and women's healthcare rights. I just think it's real funny. That's all. That's my only. Someone made a comment earlier, tweeted earlier saying over under Morgan Wallen performing the national anthem for that. I think it was Jake Mintz. Shout out to Cespedes Family Bar.
Shout out my boy Jake Mintz. We gotta get you back on the playoff stuff.
He's like, I have no doubt that Morgan Wallen would be the one performing the national anthem. And I'm like, again, I mean, it's all painfully on the news.
I just want to say this before we get up out of here. Orlando, don't be laughing too loud in the chat. You know what I'm saying? Y'all niggas ain't good either. it's like two midgets beating up each other. I know it's not politically correct, and I am president of the untall community, but that's just the joke that we had at the particular moment. Y'all niggas stink too. All right, let's just come together.
Well, I'm sorry, Dante, if that's probably not the answer that you wanted. I mean, okay.
No. I love that. I like that a lot.
I think the idea of hosting baseball games and sporting events in untraditional venues is very cool. But
no, because I think this is ass. So like I'm with you 100%. Like this is the last place I would have put them. This is like the setup just looks idiotic. Like I don't mind unconventional venues, but at the same time make it make sense. Like the
I
way
think a baseball game in a venue of that size, especially like I've been to festivals like EDC in Vegas where they host in the Las Vegas Motor Speedway is where they put the festival. That thing is, I don't think people have a true understanding like of the scale of a motor speedway.
Exactly.
It's going to be so small.
Yeah, man. I mean, hey, man, you said we still faking it. Hey, dog, whatever. You sound like Bulls fans right now. Hey, man, we can get that 6 seed if Lonzo get back. It's over. But anyway, that's all we got for this local hour, man. We're going to be back. We're going to take a quick 16-second break. On the other end, we're going to have a homie Tosin from Plantain, Shirtless Plantain Show. Don't fuck my boy show up. Shirtless Plantain Show will be joining us in the second hour. Friend of the show. We're going to talk about some Team USA. Shout out to the ladies. They advanced as well. It's going to be 2 finals against France. So we're going to watch them niggas twice. I'm going to be throwing croissants out the window tomorrow night. We're going to be talking about that. We're going to be talking about, are we fed up with Brandon Aiyuk talk? Because I am. I know Courtney, y'all said y'all fed up with it too. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about top 100 backlash for the NFL. Why is Tyreek Hill number 1? What's up to Patrick Mahomes hate? Inside the NBA might not be going anywhere. Might be inside sports. We're going to talk about a potential rebrand. And then, of course, we're going to finish our third AFC edition of our second AFC edition of Inside the Division. We're going to break down the AFC East when we come back, man. We'll be right back.
Triple double hat trick, I know the code too. Ice trade, go for trade, yeah we cold too. Getting paper on these player haters, old news, money on the other line, so I'm not gonna hold you. Money on the
And we are back, ladies and gentlemen, for hour 2, man. We're going to bring the homie Tosin in right now. You can follow this gentleman on Twitter at TSNMKND. You can follow him on Instagram at Tosin M_. He is one of the hosts of the Shirtless Plantain Show. If you want to get all your soccer, football information, this is the guy you need to go to. What's going on, my brother?
Yeah, it was good. I was gonna say congratulations on Hard Knocks, but you already shamelessly put it out there. So there you go.
As seen, I'm updating my IMDb. Updating my IMDb account.
Yo, I really, I told you I went to go rewatch the episode, and I looked up and was like, oh, there's that nigga. There he is.
I know him.
The only reason I put that in there is because these two individuals and everybody else in the chat then respected when I put the video in there on Tuesday. These niggas kept talking baseball. Okay, I'm gonna run the clip multiple times. So that's what it is, man. But what's going on with you, bro? What's going on in the world of soccer right now, man?
Man, look, I'm gonna keep it a buck. I don't give a damn about no soccer right now, man. The Ravens are back, and that's all I care about right now, man.
Real Lamar Jackson season.
Hey, listen, man, I just want to see Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson. That's really all I'm here for. Like, soccer is cool. Like, the Olympics just ended. Premier League starts next week, and like the rest of the league start next week. But you know, we got Community Shield tomorrow, Man United and Man City. But honestly, don't even care. I'm just more excited for the Ravens season, truth be told.
Definitely, man. Before we get into the first topic, I want for everybody who's joining us in the second hour, London in 2 months, man. We're going to throw this up real quick. Me and my brother Flows, of course, we cover the Chicago Bears. We're trying to, we will be in London, but we need a little help getting there. Shout out to everybody who's donated. Our goal is $3,000, trying to reach that by October 1st. We like at $1,400 right now. Shout out to everybody who has donated. I don't care if you donated $1.50. Even if you can't donate anything, a nice retweet, tell anybody about it. You can scan this right now on whatever screen you're watching this on, or if you can't screen it because you watched on your phone, you can just click in the description right now. The link is right there in the description box. Get me and Flows there. We're going to give you a lot of great content, multiple podcasts, of course, on-field videos, interviews of players, the whole nine. Help get us there, man. So shout out to everybody who did support. But let's get into our first topic here in this second hour. Team USA last night, an epic 17-point comeback against three-time and reigning MVP Nikola Jokic and Serbia. The final score was 95-91, triple-double for Mr. LeBron James, or the Captain America, as Noah Eagle called him last night. And my boy, Mr. Wardell Stephen Curry, had 36 points last night. I think it was like 6 rebounds. I think it was 6 rebounds, 8 assists, something like that. Joel Embiid stepped up. In the words of Van Jones, Joel Embiid became an American today. He had a big game in the bottom of that fourth quarter last night. Just a big comeback for them. So they will be playing the gold medal game tomorrow against France. And like I said at the end of the first hour, shout out to the ladies, Asia Wilson, Brianna Stewart, everybody on that team. They're advancing to the gold medal game as well against France. So we're looking for a double sweep so I can be riding around throwing croissants out my window like Tupac, spitting out the window of his car. I'm be doing the same thing. Big America vibes over here, man. Let's just talk about the game and just really what we've been seeing from this team. This has really been something dope to see. I was only 4 when the Dream Team happened, so I don't remember anything about the Dream Team outside of NBA TV playing that documentary like his baby boy. And the Redeem Team, I remember. I was 20 when the Redeem Team was out there. I rewatched the Redeem Team documentary last night. Real dope team. I think 2000 team was better, but this is kind of like the last run for these guys we've been watching for the last 15, 20 years. LeBron James, Stephen Curry, Kevin Durant. It's been really, really impressive. And that was one of the best games I ever saw in international play. I think the gold medal game in 2008 against Spain was great. Kobe had to go crazy. Kobe hit him with the you know what I'm saying, breakdown, everything like that. That was a fun game. But last night was crazy because I legitimately thought these niggas was going to lose. And to have Joel Embiid make those buckets, get those blocks, started getting rebounds toward the end. Then LeBron, getting that last type of steam, hitting with a couple layups. But Steph was incredible. And to see Melo courtside sitting there like Avon and Stringer Bell on that one episode of The Wire, that was fun to watch. Real enjoyable comeback. And I'm really looking forward to tomorrow's game. Tosin, what did you think about yesterday's game, the comeback, and just everything we've seen from this 3 of KD, Steph, and Bron during these Olympics?
Well, it's funny. I'm looking at a commercial of Kamala Harris, and the reason I brought that up is because that's what happens when you let immigrants in the country. Look what Joe Embiid did. So give everybody that needs their green cards, man. They can help out the national team in whatever sport. But no, I mean, it's like you said, it's crazy to see like Steph, LeBron, and KD like really become like the old heads now, right? Like I saw Ant's tweet today about keep a couple old heads around him. Like, damn, we really are like, because they're around the same age as us. It's like we the unks now. Like we the OGs. Like we the ones that's helping these younger kids, and that is terrifying to think about. But it's amazing to see these guys like. I wish we got to see Steph and Clay and Steph and KD and LeBron a lot more, but this is just vintage, man. It's like they decided in the fourth quarter, like, yo, you know what? We're better than everybody else. This is just it. And that's really what it was. It's like they decided, all right, enough bullshit. We're better than you, and this is it. And that's really kind of what happened at the end of the game. So it's impressive to see those guys just show out.
Courtney, I know you said you didn't see the game. We know you're anti-basketball, so I'll give you some bail here.
I'm not anti-basketball. I just like it doesn't do anything for me anymore.
That's fine. Trust me, I get it. As hell. I am being patriotic. LeBron James will be my op Monday morning, but as of right now, I'm going to give him some love. Dante, what'd you think about what you saw last night and just how cool it's been to watch these three legends hoop together?
Yeah. First of all, Scott, don't ever quote Van Jones.
It was a joke, nigga. It was a joke.
We're gonna keep Van Jones off of this show. But no, bro. I loved it. I think, like you said, this is a perfect way to really end this era. Like you think about Bron, Steph, KD, they defined a generation, and especially with Steph and KD, Bron was going to their high school, their college games. He went to Davidson to see Steph play. So, this is the guy that everybody has pretty much looked up to. And now for them to join him, go to battle with him in the finals, and now we see them carrying Team USA, I think it's really dope to see. That game, I'm with you, that's easily a top 3, probably top 2 Team USA game I've ever seen. And the way they came back, and like it's kind of funny how it all was ignited by Bogdanovich taunting Melo, and then everybody just turned up.
Yeah.
So like that was dope to see, and even seeing Melo, the former all-time, one of the best Olympic scorers ever. Like, did you see like the way he stood up when KD went ISO? Yeah. And like that whole fourth quarter, and just seeing everybody's interacting, it was dope to see because we talk about how basketball dialogue is pretty much in the trash right now. And so seeing a lot of people put their hate to the side for the sake of watching these three legends carry this team, that was dope. I do think it was funny, and I fuck with KD, period. But the fact that he was on Twitter at 5 a.m. in Paris talking about people who would try, he was like, "Where you from?" KD. He's like, "Where you from?" He's like, "Y'all Americans rooting against us because y'all Joker fans." Like, it's kind of crazy. And I feel him on that 100%. But it was great to see it. I think that's a top 2 Team USA game. Like the Dream Team shit, I think we're at a point now where you got to put that to rest. The Dream Team, and I'm not trying to get on my Gilbert Arena shit, but they was playing niggas who didn't play basketball. Like
I hate when y'all do this. I hate when y'all do the. I hate it. I hate it so much.
It's a fact. You still hold them up as the icons that they are. But like, we don't have to keep doing this, man. The Dream Team would have never been down. The Dream Team would have won by 30. Yeah, because they weren't playing the same type of competition. Flat out. They just wasn't. They were not. So,
to be fair, also, they ain't playing these niggas either. It's different when you see 92 Jordan out there, nigga. That's all I'm saying. It's different when you see 92 Jordan out there.
The Dream Team had niggas taking pictures with them at timeouts. Like, this was not serious basketball. Fine. Like, and I love the Dream Team.
That don't change how good that team was, bro.
No, definitely. Like I said, they still
Carlos Booz on them.
Okay, yeah, that was wild.
I'm just saying, I forgot Michael Redd was on the Redeem Team.
They've had some questionable names on these Dream Teams, but no, this one, I think this will go down as one of the best teams that we've seen, and it was really dope. And I'm excited for the gold medal game.
I think. Go ahead,
Jason Tatum's not even playing.
I'm about to say, what y'all think about that? What you think about Tatum?
I think Jason should play more, but I mean, it just is what it is. I mean, what can you do when they're already kicking ass? I mean, I think Jason deserves to play a lot more. We all know Jason's a really good player, but it's Steve Kerr. This is the same guy called his son Nick Kerr, and if you say that, so this is not a serious human being. So it's. He does whatever the hell he wants to do. This is the same guy, like when Steph is hot, he takes Steph out. He does, does shit. That's what Steve Kerr does. He just does shit just because he can. So
yeah. I mean, obviously, I am a well-renowned Jason Tatum hater. But I'll say this: does Tatum deserve to play? Yeah, he should play a lot more than he's playing. I don't think he need to be collecting DNPs. But at the same time, why we not talking about Tyrese Halliburton not playing? Like, I feel like we only doing this because the Celtics won a championship. Because of somebody who wasn't there right now. Jaylen Brown ain't there. And not to say that Jay Tatum had nothing to do with it, obviously. Jay Tatum was definitely a part of it, but he definitely is part of the backseat. But like you said, who are you going to sit in the fourth quarter? You going to sit KD? No. The leading Olympic scorer? No, you're not. Are you going to sit LeBron down? No, you're not. You going to sit Bam or 80? No, you're not. And even though he probably should play more than Embiid, they recruited Embiid, so they kind of stuck to giving Embiid minutes. I just don't like that we're going around acting like it's some travesty, bro. This is a team. First of all, who runs a 12-man rotation? Like let's get that out there as well. Like you make changes. Like KD, we heard today from Shams, KD's gonna start tomorrow. So they're doing what they can to get the gold medal. I understand why he would be upset. I know his mom tweeted some stuff, and that's her son. I understand why she was upset. I understand why Celtics fans are upset. But at the end of the day, it's not that big of a deal. In 2028, that nigga's going to get all the time in the world if he decides to play. He might say, fuck y'all, because y'all ain't played me. But if he does play in LA, he's going to get all the time because these guys are going to be gone. If you're a fan of basketball, whether you're our age or younger, you're here to see three of the greatest players to ever pick up the basketball play together for the first and for the last time. That's LeBron James, Steph Curry, and Kevin Durant. We don't care about Jason Tatum, nigga. Like, let's come on, man. If I'd watched that comeback and Jason Tatum would hit somebody with them NBA 2K crossovers just to hit the side of the board at three, I'd have lost it. You know what I'm saying? So I think Steve Kerr, with all his faults, and Warrior fans be killing that nigga. They be Warrior fans on the timeline like, see what we talking about? See what he be doing in games in March against Sacramento? So I don't think that Steve Kerr is a perfect coach, obviously, but I don't have too much of a problem with Jason Tatum not really playing like that. Dante, what you feel?
I don't have an issue with it simply because it's, like you said, it's literally one of the most loaded teams we've ever had. And so with those guys and the fact that they still impact the game, it's not like on the women's side where you got people asking, why did Diana Taurasi make this team? Because, when she get out there, it looked like sometimes, all right, Diana, go ahead and sit back down. But you got three guys still performing at an extremely high level. And so for Jason Tatum, with his skill set, is putting him out there is kind of just overkill in certain situations. So, they're going for certain matchups, certain things that they want to do. They like switching in the game, in the FIBA game. So, he's just the odd man out. But you just made a very good point. Next year, there are going to be a lot of minutes available. Not next year, next Olympics, there are going to be a lot of minutes available for him because, 2, maybe 3 of these guys won't be on this team. And it might be 4 because Joel Embiid is already talking about playing for Cameroon next year.
I saw that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, the things change. So we'll see what happens with that. So I think that's just more fan speak. Like we always, like I said, the NBA and these narratives and, these fan groups to just get online and click up and just say hater shit. It kind of really ruins it because, it's just a lot of talent on the floor at once. And so he's just the odd man out.
Go ahead,
Dante,
to your point, that's what Kevin Durant tweeted today. It's like, this is a brotherhood and none of y'all are in this. So shut up.
I personally love when KD goes in on Twitter because he don't care. Like once we got past the burner account thing, he just started saying it with his chest. I'm like, there you go, KD. Like,
I still don't think he got enough shit for that.
He got enough.
I don't think he got enough for that.
Oh,
that's crazy.
KD get made fun of maybe than any star NBA player, like actual legitimate jokes. Like there's KD ain't got no hoes. How many times we heard that joke? Like all the time. Like KD gets made fun of a lot. But I'm glad he's at the point in his career where it seems like it doesn't bother him like it used to anymore. With KD, I feel like KD had one of those moments last night. If you pay attention to the interview he had after, and there was like a video they posted on the USA basketball account where I think they were all having a team dinner and his mom was there. He was like, man, you just gotta appreciate moments like these. Like, KD's been in the league 17 years, bro. I think we forget it's been a long time. This nigga's been in the league almost 20 years. He's like, we gotta appreciate these moments. You know what I'm saying?
For the Sonics.
He did. People forget that. That'd be a Jeopardy question. He actually played a full season with the Sonics. Russell Westbrook was drafted by the Sonics, but they became the Thunder like the next month. KD actually played with the Sonics. So I loved what he did with that, man. So that's, big shout out to Team USA. this will be the last time we talk about basketball till October, late October, because we won't be on the air next week. So even if hopefully they do win the gold medal tomorrow, by the time we get back on air, it's kind of gonna be old news. So let's get into football, which is what you all are here to watch. Go ahead.
Gotta shout out the women's team quickly though, because they're whooping ass. So shout out to them. They're incredible.
Big shout out to the women's team, the best. Asia Wilson's so cold, bro. Like Asia Wilson be putting up numbers that's just like, even for the NBA, would be like asinine. Like, and shout out to Nike for great marketing. 2 great commercials this week. The Asia Wilson commercial was great. The KD commercial after he was like, "Damn, y'all niggas didn't put me in original." That was good commercial for them as well. But big shout out to the women's team. Hopefully they bring home the goal as well. They've been watching niggas. They ain't got a close game yet.
And I'm glad that people get to see Brianna Stewart on the national stage because she hoop like a nigga. For real. Like Brianna Stewart is one of those people that I enjoy watching her play basketball.
Yeah.
Yo, quickly before we move on, Asia Wilson, you know how she does that one sock thing with the sleeve? The U.S. women's soccer team were copying her. They said they all got influenced by Asia, so that's really dope to see that too. To like, we got all this synergy with all the U.S. and it's just great to see.
Supporting women.
Yeah, it's really great to see America kick everybody's ass on the international stage, though. That shit is fire. It can't hold you.
You know what I love about this too? Somebody tweeted this yesterday. We all America right now, but Monday we gonna be like conspiracy brothers.
100%.
Back to. Let me tell you why this country ain't shit.
Real quick. While we on the topic of America, how y'all feel about y'all boy Noah Lyles?
Hey, listen.
Oh, I never been happy to see an American lose in my life.
Listen, I'm gonna say this. I watched the track documentary before the Olympics, and I fuck with Noah Lyles. I'm sorry. I fuck with Noah Lyles heavy. And he has one on Peacock too, which I just watched recently. And I think the thing about him that I like the most is like he's just a dork. Like legit, he's just a nerdy ass nigga. But he really believes in himself, and he's showing it all the time. It's like, yeah, he got bronze, but yo, he doesn't do the 100, and he got a golden.
Nigerian kids behind you?
Yeah, I got a ton of Nigerian kids.
I see you. I like that.
There's a lot. There's a lot
I just saw it right behind you. I was like,
yeah, there's a ton of them. But yeah, I'm happy for Noah, man. I mean, like, it's not the best thing in the world to run around with COVID, but the kid got all the elements, and he got a gold medal. You can't take that away from him. So
my only issue has nothing to do with his action. He's a very talented, runner. He's very talented athlete. It's just I hated the world champion comment, and I'm sorry. I just hated it. So I had to. Was I rooting for him to lose? No. I'm not rooting against the eagle during the Olympics. But I was laughing when he did the America. I got this, and then lost. That was funny.
However,
he's not wrong. No, he's 100% wrong.
I mean, the timing and it was. But again, I think that is an odd thing to say if you really think about it. World champion to describe a team that plays exclusively in the United States is a bit odd, don't you think?
But it has the world's best players, and you have somebody who like Stephon Marbury is Jesus Christ.
I agree with you. Odd. Like I said the same thing about the World Series. Like, because what do you mean?
Best league, best players.
It's the best league. Like people, I was gonna say something which has been wild, but people.
Again, I understand, but I also understand.
I see where he was. I see where he was going. He just went down the wrong street. Like
100%. Like I mean,
Iverson was washed in the NBA. He did a season in Turkey. It looked like 0-1 again. Stephon Marbury legitimately has a statue. They think he's Michael Jordan in China.
Bro, he extended his career by a decade in China.
Yes.
He played for 10 years in them cardboard shoes. He was out there giving niggas 40.
Well, what's my man? Who the nigga who was taunting Melo? What's my man? I forget his name. He was looking crazy yesterday. He's a role player in the NBA. You know what I'm saying? Like, of course, you got your Giannis's and your Jokic, but they've won championships. So that's why, and to me, it was just a weird thing to say. Like, what are we doing, bro? Like,
I will say this:
time and place. I don't disagree that the timing was fucking odd, and like, what a weird target to put on your back for no reason. Like they just caught a stray for absolutely no reason. But like,
he does like promotion for track though. I think that a lot of more eyes were on the track because of him. Like, and that's one thing that Usain Bolt said to him was like, keep your personality up because it's good for the sport. So he's a little dork and. That's all that is. Yeah.
One last thing, we move on. Shout out to Simone Biles, aka the new Chicago Bears fan. Shout out to Simone Biles. for her
to Shakira,
domination.
too.
Shout out to her. She was burning niggas today. Shout out to everybody who want to go. Shout out my nigga DOGG, making 500 racks a day. Shout out to Snoop. Big shout out. If there's any question about who's the most popular rapper ever, shut up. I think that should be answered by now. It's Snoop Dogg, man. But let's move on to football. We're gonna talk about Brandon Aiyuk. I'm tired of this. I know, especially Courtney, I know you was tired of it. Mikey, he not here today. Mikey was really tired of it.
Yeah, me and Mikey
talking about the fourth. Yeah, both of y'all went up. Like, why are we having this conversation about a fourth weapon for the 49ers? So for anybody who's missed it last week, so there have been rumors that he was going to get traded to the New England Patriots. That didn't happen because they held up on contract numbers. Then there was two different rumors that he was going to go to the Pittsburgh, even to the point where it sounded like it was going to happen the same day. You had one Pittsburgh Steelers beat writer said that everything was pretty much taken care of. And in the way that Mike Tomlin was talking in his interview with the local Pittsburgh radio station, it sounded like it was done. Now we're hearing the Steelers out of it. And even to the point now, we have Tom Pelissero, Ian Rappaport saying that now that the Niners and Aiyuk are back talking and the situation is fluid. And just as recently as 20 minutes ago, Brandon Aiyuk commented on Tom Pelissero's Instagram that said, the Niners always be talking in the media. It's either one thing, pay me, or the other thing they don't want to do. So we're still here at square one. I'm going to say this before I give the floor to Courtney. We're doing a lot. And I like Brandon Aiyuk. I personally think as a straight up wide receiver, before I say this, wide receiver, he's a better wide receiver than Deebo Samuel. I think he's going to be really good. I think he's has a potential, has been crazy. But we're doing a lot. The nigga's not CeeDee Lamb. He's not Jamar Chase. He's not Justin Jefferson, who just got paid. And he's not even my boy DJ Moore. What are we doing? It's a lot. And I said they even talked about Brandon. Yeah, we might even talk about him being in the Commanders. Like it's a lot we're doing for this guy. And if I'm CeeDee Lamb, I'd be sitting there like, yeah, pay that nigga. Because whatever he get, I'm finna crush that. Same thing with Jamar Chase as well. I think we're doing a lot, and I do believe that he's going to go to one or two places. Just because they say these teams are out doesn't mean they're really out. I mean, we heard that that Cleveland was out on Deshaun Watson a couple years ago. Then they ended up getting him. So I still think that Pittsburgh is a very, very real possibility. But this is also a franchise who basically gave Jimmy G to Sayonara and brought that nigga back. So I don't think that's out of realm possibility either. I'm just tired of talking about this nigga. And one way or another, let's just wrap this up. I'm going to get a floor to Courtney.
Yeah, I mean, I just think it's like really odd that we're treating this shit like it's like fucking LeBron and the decision, right? Like, there's no reason for us to have this. And it's odd, especially when you think about how the 49ers have treated Brandon Aiyuk. And then, like, obviously they're going into these contract negotiations and these trade negotiations kind of almost like in bad faith, right? Because we see how you treat him in your scheming, right? You can't do that and then trade talks try to treat him like he's a number one receiver when he's not even the number one receiver on your team. Like, that's just odd to me. Obviously, I know that's their job to get the most money that they can or the most amount of assets for him back. But I just find it very odd to see that at play, especially when clearly his team is even in conflict with what their expectations are. So, yeah, I wish we could just trade him and get it over with, or pay him. I mean, I'm over it though. I'm over it.
Go ahead, Dante. What you feel about this?
I agree with everybody. Like, it's a lot going on. It's hella unnecessary, but it's also, like Kyle said, this is, nobody stretches the story like the NFL. And so, we at a point now where, it's preseason, so people's interest is waning a little bit. It's really starting to get ramped up. And this is just another way to grab headlines away from everybody else. Like, they're going to stretch this, leak stories. Half of the stories that they're leaking don't really exist. They didn't actually happen. So I'm used to it at this point, but at the same time, I think it's time to just get this deal over with and, let's just keep moving.
Go ahead, Tosin. What you think about this whole little ordeal with Aiyuk?
Just a necessary noise. Everybody just wants to talk. It just is what it is. Just don't bring him to AFC North. I just don't want to see him. Don't bring him. But yeah, I mean, listen, it makes sense. I mean, they need to give him a contract, and I apparently just don't want to give him new money. So, I mean, when you got George Kittle, you got, Debo, you also got McCaffrey. There's only but so much time you can give somebody the ball. But hey, listen, I think he's gonna get traded eventually. It's just a matter of where. It's just all posturing at this point. So it'll get done, and we just need to stop hearing about it.
Yeah, it will get done. I know if you're not just the Niners, if you're Aiyuk, you want to get over this. Well, if you stay with the Niners, you can get back in the camp, and if you're being introduced to a whole other team, to get used to that system as well, man. So yeah, and then remember the wrap it up box for Chappelle Show. Wrap this shit up, though. That's what I'm at right now.
As far as where I would like him to go, I would really actually like to see him with Jaden Daniels in Washington. I would like to see it. And that goes back to what I said a couple of weeks ago about how if they maybe had a little bit more help on that side of the ball, that team could be quite interesting. Quite interesting.
I mean,
not good.
I wouldn't like to.
I did not say good. I did say interesting,
I wouldn't like to see it. I actually, this, he ain't gonna get it. I hope he don't get it. But he should go to Green Bay. Like Green Bay should be.
Why are we even speaking this into existence?
Because it's true. Like they should be on the phone with the 49ers right now, trying to get Jordan Love some help. If you're about to pay this, you just paid him. Like it makes sense.
That just said the chill down my back. Let's not ever even try to speak that into existence. I don't know.
I'm gonna be honest, man.
Nah, man, you right, but we ain't gotta speak that into existence, man. McLaurin and Brandon might be decent. Yeah, that'd be a nice little, start off with Jaden Daniels, man. That would be nice. Wouldn't mind seeing him actually in Pittsburgh with Justin. That would give Justin another weapon. You know what I'm saying? That'd be cool. I know you don't want to see this Ravens fan.
I was gonna say you don't want to see your ex happy. That's crazy. They moved on.
Chill out. I want nobody in the AFC North to do well except for the Ravens.
Keep him out of the NFC North. Far away, nigga. I don't want to see him doing Lambeau leaping. I'm good on that.
That would be crazy.
Let's move on to our next topic, man. The NFL Top 100 just wrapped up, and there's been a lot of conversation around this one, man. For anybody who live under rock, this is not a list that's like when put together by beat writers. This is a list that's put together by the players. And there's any proof that players have CTE is this list. Number one, DJ Moore did not make this. What are we doing? DJ Moore not a top 100 player in the NFL? Get out of my face. Aaron Rodgers was 92. He had 4 snaps last year. 92. What are we doing? Like, this is not a legacy award. This is based on each year. Stop it. He shouldn't be on there. L'Jarius Sneed, who was part of that Chiefs defense that pretty much carried them last year, he's not on the top 100. Now, I'm going to give y'all the top 10, and we're going to discuss what's the issue with this. Number 10, you got Max Crosby, who we just found out is a Trump supporter, which honestly, if you look at his tattoos, I'll be really shocked.
Are you shocked?
I'll be really shocked. No, we're not. He's number 10. Travis Kelce is number 9. Number 8 is TJ Watt. I feel like TJ Watt, as cold as TJ Watt is, he goes off name a lot. Like he getting the same thing his brother be getting. Not that I'm saying that TJ Watt ain't cold. TJ Watt is cold, but he be going off reputation sometimes. 8 a little high for me. Trent Williams is number 7, who's still trying to get his money. Number 6 got Chris Jones from the Chiefs. Number 5, Myles Garrett. This is where it gets blasphemous. Number 4, Patrick Mahomes. At 4, look, man, I'm going to keep the team list before I go in. Number 3, Chris McCaffrey. Number 2, Lamar Jackson. And number 1, Tyreek Hill. I'm going to say this. All 4 of these men are deserving to be in the top 4. It's the order that pisses me off. I don't care. I'm not saying that they got to be number 1 because, it fluctuates from year to year. I get that. Tom Brady won 1 every year. Aaron Rodgers won 1 every year. Peyton Manning won them. I don't think Peyton Manning was 1 because when they started doing the list, the nigga was washed. But number 4, I don't care what NFL list you do. Mahomes shouldn't be number 4 on anything. I think you just feeding to the fire. You already got rookies on the Raiders calling this nigga Kermit that he said which will be addressed in due time. If you are a gambler, make sure you gamble October 27th, I think it is, when they are in Allegiant Stadium. Put up 5 touchdowns for Patrick Mahomes. That might be the easiest money you ever made in your life. Chris McCaffrey is great. He should not be over Patrick Mahomes. I don't even have a problem with y'all having Lamar over Pat based on last year. I love Tyreek Hill. I think Tyreek Hill is great. number one to me is crazy. I'm sorry. If we're gonna have any wide receiver being number one, I know he was hurt last year, so I get that Jeff number one, but Tyreek Hill number one's kind of crazy. And you see a lot of players out here being mad about it. Oh, Jalen Johnson didn't make the top 100. Jalen Johnson actually told us, the media, that it was bullshit that he didn't make it. And he said, how did Aaron Rodgers make it? And he didn't even play last year. So there's been a lot of heat towards this list that we haven't really seen towards past years. Tosin, what you feel about the list? Do you have a problem with how it's put together or anybody who was snubbed?
So one thing, apparently the players voted in November, like early November. That's why the rankings are what it is. So that's why the players did that. Number 2, once I saw Kyle Hamilton was number 43, I stopped paying attention.
Yeah,
because ain't a safety in the league better than Kyle Hamilton. Number 1, number 2 is just like 43 is crazy to put Kyle Hamilton after what he did last year. You're insane. So these lists are just nonsense, man. It's, again, like I said, lists are just meant for people to get pissed off at. Because you're not going to make anybody happy making a list of 100 players in the NFL. This is not going to happen. Some players deserve to be where they are, but again, Tyreek number 1 that's egregious, but it just is what it is.
And you know what else is egregious? The NFL not putting these joints on their YouTube. Y'all keep trying to bait me into buying NFL Plus. And I don't have a problem with buying NFL Plus. It's the fact that the app is shitty. Like, if anybody uses NFL Plus, it is the slowest app I've ever used in my life.
It's a bad app.
Get it together. Courtney, what you think about this list?
The only thing, obviously, we can like get in there and like nitpick the order of certain things, but the only thing that really does it for me is that it is voted on by the players. And like, who am I to tell the people who literally week in and week out have to like literally see with their own 2 eyeballs and use their body to play them, like that they're wrong, you know? That's my only thing. I can't tell them that, okay, you think Lamar is better than Pat? I mean, I disagree, but like, if you said it, you know, you said it.
Y'all giving that light-skinned nigga. Oh, by the way, I know it's kind of off topic. I saw some on Instagram that's gonna do Pat Jones had me dying. So Shedeur Sanders has a podcast. If you need any more heat on Colorado this season,
what does he talk about?
Shedeur has a podcast where I don't know. He had this first episode had his brothers on there, Shiloh and Deion Jr. By the way, happy birthday to the GOAT, Prime 57th birthday today. Happy birthday to the GOAT, one of my favorite players of all time. I had a Baltimore Ravens Deion Sanders jersey, nigga. That's how big of a Prime fan I was. You couldn't even buy that. I had to get it personalized on NFL website. They didn't sell number 37 Deion Sanders jersey. That's how big of a Deion fan that I was. But yeah, Kyle, that's a good point. Some of the worst evaluators of people play the game, and we'll get into inside the NBA in a minute. Shaq and Chuck are some of the greatest players of all time. You can't tell me them niggas watch the NBA. But when it comes to what happened on the podcast was they were talking about they were talking like some high school quarterbacks. And Shedeur told this one high school quarterback, man, you kind of remind me of a mix of Caleb Williams and Patrick Mahomes. He said, you be like the black Patrick Mahomes. When I tell you, I fell out. When he said, you be like the black Patrick Mahomes, I was dying. That the nigga did not address his ancestry whatsoever, man. That had me down. But y'all gonna keep pissing this light-skinned nigga off. That's why if anybody watch quarterback, the man ain't right in the head. I asked him a question last year when I did the Chiefs game, and I asked him, does he like playing the Bears? He looked at me, he gave me the Kobe stare. Like the nigga looked at my soul and told me, yeah, I look forward to it every time. I definitely look forward to putting up numbers. Whatever the quote was, it's on my Instagram. But the nigga's a psycho. So stuff like this, and you already got Travis Kelsey liking it and putting comments like, they're gonna be thinking about that. Dante, I know list, but what do you think about this list?
I mean, lists are made to get you mad. Like they going for the outrage here. They knew people were gonna have feelings about it, especially the players who were snubbed. And if you notice, a lot of players that were snubs, they from fan bases that are very active online. So I mean, they definitely knew what they were doing with that shit. So I didn't really take too much account. I think the NFL is one list I definitely don't even look at. Like the NBA list, I may glance at it every once in a while. I feel like the baseball has the best list because they usually just do it by position. And, it's hard to argue with the way that they do it. But when you get the players voting and shit, this is just a further proof that, I hear you, Courtney, but at the same time, just because you played them, you know what you're talking about.
Hey, that's fair. That's fair.
People have their biases and shit. It's just like with some of the great basketball players who comment on today's game. It's like, it's all right, nigga, you just hating. Like you got your guys you like, your guys you don't like. So with lists like this, they're banking on the outrage to get everybody talking and to, like we just said, stretch out headlines. That's what the NFL want.
Well, we do appreciate y'all for content, so I appreciate y'all for that. You not hate the fucking list. But anyway, one last topic before we spend the last 30 minutes breaking down the AFC East. Inside the NBA might actually not be going anywhere, people. What we heard this week, of course, Chuck did the whole thing on the last game 5 of the NBA Finals when the Celtics won. I don't know if it was game 5. I think it was game 4. He said he was retiring. Well, I think they gave that nigga a little bit more money because he will be staying with TNT through the remainder of his 10-year contract. And he was on Dan Patrick's show yesterday. He said he got a call from TNT. He said, we're not stopping the show. He said, I don't know what that means, but we're not stopping the show. You know what I'm saying? So as we found out, a report came out from the Wall Street Journal that Warner is tossing around the idea of having Inside the NBA become Inside Sports, where they're talking about highlights from different sports once a week. They also said that maybe to be part of it, where they'll have highlights rights with the NBA, where they'll be able to play NBA highlights and talk like that. I'll say like this: it's not going to be the same as the actual show, but I would watch Ernie, Kenny, Shaq, and Chuck talk about anything. So they got a fan in me. If that does happen, I can just see Chuck right now breaking down soccer or any other sport that ain't got nothing to do with basketball. Sign me up for that. Tosin, what do you think about this potential rebrand? Do you think it's something that can work or something that would be cool at first, but not really long term?
Yo, that shit would be hilarious. I need to see Chuck and Shaq talk about soccer and just try to pronounce any name that's like not, just any name. I just need to hear them say any random name, like just some random Polish name. I need to hear him say that. And I don't know, man. It's just like just letting them talk about anything is gonna be one of the funniest things that that they'll let happen because they just don't care. They legitimately do not care. And I'm sure Charles is going to make fun of some country having big women. That's just what he's going to do. He's not a good person. But
yeah, exactly.
Listen, it's going to be interesting because those guys can talk about anything. I mean, they don't have to be experts because they're your old uncles who just talk shit. And they're great at what they do. They have amazing chemistry. And it doesn't really matter what sport, anything they talk about, because we're not going to them for expertise. We're going there for entertainment. Yeah. And that's what the hell they're going to do is entertain us.
Dante, what do you think about this potential of Inside Sports?
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. Outside of basketball, I really don't want to hear them talk. Like, I agree they are extremely entertaining, but like outside of basketball, I really don't care what Chuck, everybody. I don't want to fuck their names up right now, but I'm not really checking for it. So I mean, I think it's a good
Dante,
way.
You forgot Kenny, Shaq, and Ernie.
Yeah, no. But nah, bro.
Nigga, Friday starting 30 minutes. We almost there, my boy.
It's just one of them shits where the show is as is. It's a great show, and when you start to tinker with the format, yeah, you're gonna have the same voices. So I think they'll still be able to create moments, but it wouldn't be the same as them just strictly locking in on basketball.
Courtney, you got any thoughts on this or no?
I don't need to hear Charles Barkley talk about hockey. I don't need that. Let's just keep it pure and keep it moving.
Ernie, what's that boy name? Connor David.
Oh my God,
he really good.
That's that little Canadian boy.
The little Canadian boy. I think he up there with my boy. What was his name? Who on the Rangers? Messier. And then Chuck like, what'd you say, Chuck? What kind of women they got in Ottawa, Chuck? Like, I pay to see that. I'm sorry. That's entertaining to me.
You want to talk about the big women in Winnipeg?
Yeah. We got some big old women in Winnipeg, man.
That's crazy.
Let me tell you, I love Chicago, but the Blackhawks are terrible, Ernie. Like, I'm here for all of that, man.
I apologize to everyone watching that from Winnipeg.
And a real nigga salute to Chuck because he's actually paying all of the people on the inside crew like $5,000 each. And he even said on Dan Patrick, he's trying to find a way to give it to him tax-free. Well, shout out to Chuck because those are the people who you will really be worried about. Ernie, Chuck, Kenny, especially Shaq. Them niggas ain't got to worry about money wherever. Shaq will sell anything to you. They'll be fine. It's the crew that you got to really worry about. So even on this perspective, keeping their job, I think that'll be dope, man. But let's move on to our final topic. We're going to go to about 7:15 what's called Central Time. We're gonna wrap this up with inside the AFC East. And honestly, might not take this. That might be 20 minutes, but inside the AFC East, we're gonna talk about each team in this division. Let's start off with Courtney's favorite team and favorite quarterback, Mr. Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills. They finished 11-6 last season, won the division, beat Mike Tomlin and the Steelers in that Tuesday playoff game, because I think there was too much snow in the area in Buffalo. And they ended up losing to the Chiefs in a very fun divisional round, which if Stephon Diggs would have actually turned around, who knows? They might have beat them niggas. So they lose a couple people this year. Obviously, Stephon Diggs now with the Houston Texans, lose a big weapon, even though Josh Allen doesn't really think it's going to be that big of a loss. We kind of knew they had a little beef last year. He said that Stephon is a great player, but I don't know if I use the word miss. This is definitely the least hype that they've ever had coming into this season. And y'all know I'm Josh Allen, my boy. But I'm not buying any stock in the Buffalo Bills this year. I'm concerned about that defense. The offense was already stepped down there somewhere. They don't have a running game. And Josh Allen, as much as I love him, he goes full slow mode sometimes when it gets into these games. And I really feel like they blew their opportunity to make an AFC championship game or go to the Super Bowl. I think the AFC is just so stacked, and even in this division, it's kind of stacked as well. I'm not really expecting too much from him, but I do think it's a make or break year for Josh Allen, because a lot of people have him as number 2 quarterback in the league. I don't. I think it's my man Joe Burrow, but a lot of people have him as their QB number 2. He got to actually do the things that Burrow and Mahomes and even Lamar Jackson have done, and that's make an AFC championship game. And I just don't think this crew can actually do that. Courtney, we know how much you love Josh Allen. What do you think about this year's iteration of the Buffalo Bills?
I think they're significantly worse than they were last year. And because of that, I think it's unfair for me to have the same expectations. You said they have no run game. He is their run game. Like, it seems like that's their plan, is to run the entirety of the offense through Josh Allen, which I get it. He's objectively a very talented guy, but he makes a lot of boneheaded decisions because he likes to be the hero. And that's really kind of what I'm worried about this year. Keep in mind, they also were 6-6 last year before they went on that 5-game stretch at the second half of the season to finish 11-6. So yeah, I'm not really sold on this iteration of the Bills team, I'm not at all. The problem is there's 3 teams that are kind of going to hover in this division, like around the same record, give or take, and then there's the Patriots, right? But yeah, I think they'll finish 3rd in the division.
Dante, man,
that's my thoughts.
Yeah, we'll get into our actual picks on the preview show. But Dante, what you think about the storylines and the vibe of what you're expecting from the Bills this year?
It's really put up a shut up time. You just got approved for a multi-billion-dollar stadium that the taxpayers are going to be paying for. So you got to give the people something to watch. Josh Allen, we've made it known how we feel about him on here. I think he's Caucasian Cam Newton is what I like to call him. And I think without Stephen Diggs this year, I think it's going to be a lot worse. Like we said, he makes a lot of, gunslinger decisions. And now we're going to see how he reacts with less talent in that wide receiver room. So I don't have them winning the division again. And I know we'll get into our picks and everything later. But I think this is a team that's going to take a step back on offense. And as a result, the entire team is going to take a step back.
Tosin, obviously this isn't your division, but what do you think about the Bills and their place in the AFC title landscape right now?
First of all, I got to push back on what you said. Ain't nobody number 2 but Lamar Jackson. Ain't no Joe Burrow.
Yeah, I knew you were going to correct me on that.
ain't no Joe Burrow. Well, I mean, if you look at the Bills receivers, I mean, Chase Claypool, Keon Coleman, KJ Hamlin, Matt Collins, Andy Isabella. I mean, they got MVS, which doesn't really.
West Side Gun is one of their wide receivers. Like,
yeah, I mean, if you want to feel old, Frank Gore Jr. is on their team too.
Oh my God.
So yeah, if you want to feel old, but yeah, I mean, it's not really looking good over there. They lost Diggs, and even when they had Diggs, they weren't that impressive anyway. So it's Josh Allen who's gonna have to play basically Superman for 17, 18 games, and that man is not the smartest person in the world when he's high-headed. So it's not gonna look good. That's all I can say is, no.
Well,
They-
Not gonna look
he
good.
can't go getting mad at Stephon Diggs on the sideline anymore. Who's going to be the new target?
MVS.
Who's the new target for the frustration?
MVS.
Or you going to push away Dawson Knox too? That's crazy.
This is how bad their wide receiver core is. When I sent in the artwork for this segment, we post up on YouTube later. I couldn't think of why. I had to throw Von Miller on there. I damn near forgot he was on the team. I actually had to go to Wikipedia to make sure he was actually still on the Bills. Like that. That's how bad that offensive team is, man. This is the problem too of being a fan of a team in a city like Buffalo. You ain't got no NBA team. You know what I'm saying? You ain't got no baseball team.
The Sabres suck.
Yeah. It's like you putting all your faith in sports in this, and in the Buffalo. This is a funny thing.
They got West Side Gun.
You got West Side Gun, you know what I'm saying? You got all their whole little crew over there, man. But besides that, I kind of feel bad for y'all, man. I don't think it's gonna be a good year for them boys, man. But let's go on to the Miami Dolphins. The Miami Dolphins, they just paid their franchise quarterback, Mr. Tua Tagliavola, in my like Ross likes to pronounce that nigga name. $212.4 million. 167 of them things guaranteed. They just added more money to Tyreek Hill's contract. To me, this is a big year for the Dolphins as well, man. That defense wasn't good last year, and it looked worse now. Last year they went 11-6, same record as the Bills. But they coughed up that division to Buffalo, who came back, and they lost in a wild card game in a bitter cold game at Arrowhead Stadium to the eventual champions. This is another make or break year. There's a lot of make or break years for teams this year. Tua got to win a playoff game, man. Like, we can't even be thinking about AFC Championship or they got to win a playoff game. Them coughing up the division the way that they have no excuse, in my opinion. And we'll get into the Jets in a minute, but they have no excuse to not win this division. You got to win this division. Tua can't be winning because of his weapons, because Mike McDaniels is such a good play caller. I want to see plays because of Tua. You got paid. Even though they didn't want to give that money, you got paid. So now it's your time to go out there and step up and do those things, man. They got to make a big lead. They have not won a playoff game since like 24 years ago, and Dan Marino was old and still on the team. So to me, it's make a break, but it's also baby steps. If you can go out there, finally win this division, they ain't won a division in a long time as well, and win a playoff game, that's a massive step going forward because you still got a pretty young crew. I know Tyreek's probably the oldest out of all of them, but you still got a pretty good young crew. So they got to go out there and at least do something that they haven't done. That offense looks incredible when it's 90 degrees outside. When you get to that cold weather, as we've seen in the playoff games, we saw late towards the end of that season, all that type of stuff is dead. And they don't really have a run game either that really will help them when it gets into, November and December and things like that. Yeah, Kyle, Tua got to win a game below 50 degrees. You Did something happen? Did we lose?
Yeah. We're good. I'm still here.
We lost you, nigga. You all right?
We lost you, brother.
Yeah. He got the same internet as the Bears.
Yeah.
Well, picking up where Scott left off, I vehemently disagree with the Dolphins chat. I know that there's a couple of issues in their defense. They lost Bradley Chubb. They lost Jalen Phillips. I still think that this Dolphins team could do something interesting this season. I do think that they'll win the division. I know he ain't gonna ask him for picks yet, okay, but I'm gonna say it anyway. I think they're gonna win the division. I don't think Aaron fucking Rodgers is gonna win this division. I definitely don't think that Josh Allen is gonna lead the Bills to win the division. And the Patriots aren't even. That's like in the back of my mind. So yeah, I think that this iteration of the Dolphins team could be really interesting, especially if what I'm hearing is true, that they do have Achane kind of taking some catching some passes now. That could be really interesting and add a new landscape dimension to that run game. So I don't know. I'm curious to see it. Go to
Yeah. Yeah, negative. I honestly, I wish it was on 3 where you could have saw me yawn when you said that, but I am not
You're not
checking
even
for.
like the Dolphins offense. I'm looking at who they have right now. Also, listen, Kendall Fuller, that's a much better CB2 than fucking Xavier Howard.
I feel you. I feel you. But at the same time, like we've been saying, once that temperature drop, Tua turns into Mark Brunell. Like I don't have time for this. Like at
For
this
sure.
point,
I'm hoping that
we
they
got
do
to see
something to assist them with
something.
that.
We have to see something. Like I say, even if it's get to the division round and lose, get like you got to do something. Like I take that back. I'm sorry. Get to the division round and win. Like win a game. You have to win a playoff game, and they haven't done that. And so like yeah, they had the talent. The offense is going to be spectacular for the bulk of the season. But once we get into late fall, early winter, how are they going to react? And so until we see something on that level, it's tough to pick up. Like this team will be entertaining. They're going to have games where they beat the shit out of really bad teams. But I think when it comes against the best teams, we've seen them struggle. Like their losses last year, they when they played good teams, they got their ass beat. Like
The Ravens
they
did
was
that
beat.
In all
twice.
fairness, they do
Yeah.
have the 8th toughest schedule in the NFL this season. Like it's not going to be an easy season for Miami by any means, but I do still think that they can win the division and hopefully buy themselves some warmer games.
Who's better between Tua and Brock Purdy? I mean, I don't know. Neither one of them.
I mean, I'm still taking Tua. Yeah, I mean, he looks great
I'm
when
gonna take Purdy.
when he has less than 2.5 seconds to get the ball off. But
Yeah, I mean, I think with Miami right now, they added a lot of new pieces. I mean, they got Anthony Weaver now as the new defensive coordinator, which, they stole everybody from the Ravens last year. It's all good. But I think that they're going to be a little bit better. It's just like you said, when it gets colder outside, are you really going to step up when it's time to step up? Because when we played them last year, we beat the shit out of them. The Ravens beat their ass. And, that's what happens when you play against a team that's used to playing in cold weather. So, it's really, it's nice to do well in the beginning of the season because remember last year when they were kicking everyone's ass, doing very well in the regular season, but we're just like, we know what you do, but can you really show out when it really matters? So that's the biggest thing. And they added Odell, which, good for aura in the locker room, I guess. So yeah.
Yeah. Odell's a great addition. That's a great guy. If he can get open, which you got a game plan around 2 wide receivers and Odell, possibly game plan around Odell and possibly game plan around Achane, possibly catch. I'm just saying there's a lot of possibilities with this offense. I'm buying into the Miami Dolphins.
Can y'all hear me now?
Yes, sir.
So the internet went out my house. So I'm here on the phone, man. What team we on now?
We just wrapped up the Dolphins, so we're ready to move on.
Wrapped up the Dolphins. Team. All right, so bear with me because the internet is out right now. So,
Damn.
Yeah. So, the New York Jets. We're gonna go to the Jets. The Jets were 7-10 last year, missed the playoffs, because Aaron Rodgers got hurt and played number 4 of the season. So that's something where he's gonna be back. We don't know how healthy he's going to be because we haven't really seen him play. He's not gonna be playing preseason according to Robert Salah. They still have the Hassan Reddick issue. He wants money. They haven't paid him yet after the trade that happened with the Eagles. And then you got another year with Garrett Wilson, man. To me, I mean, the NFL is trying to, get back with giving them they got like 8 or 9 primetime games, which is insanity. To me, it shouldn't be that high. But that's something where, people are going to be trying to look at and see if they can actually do the things they're supposed to do last year. I think if Aaron is healthy, and that's a big if because of his age, I think they'll be a good team. And I think that if he plays, that they'll be a playoff team and they'll have a chance to actually win that division. But you're resting a lot on the Achilles of somebody who's going to be 41 this year. So I wouldn't put too much stock on on the New York Jets. Courtney, what you think about the Jets this year?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, this is a division where there's 3 teams within it that are going to be fighting with each other kind of tooth and nail. So you're probably going to see a situation where possibly 2 teams finish with the same record. And I think it's entirely possible that the Jets and the Bills finish with the same record at the end of the season. That being said, Again, you're hitching your wagon to an old anti-vaxxer who we have not seen play in like a year, 2 years. Like I'm not hitching my wagon to the Jets at all. Great run game, great defense.
Dante, what you think about this year's Jets?
I think the Jets are gonna be really good, actually. I know, we feel how we feel about Aaron Rodgers, but I mean, when healthy, I still think he's a top 5 guy in the league. I think the weapons that they have on offense, he'll be able to use them to his advantage, put up some really, really good numbers. And we already know about that defense. Sauce Gardner, I really rock with Sauce Gardner. And I think that healthy Aaron Rodgers, which is going to be the key. And like you said, at his age, him and Kirk Cousins are kind of in the same boat where it's like, okay, what do we expect from these people coming back late 30s off an ACL? So I'm sorry, off an Achilles. So we'll see how he bounces back. But if he's able to stay healthy, there's no reason why they shouldn't win like 11 games.
Tosin, go ahead, bro. What you think?
Yeah, just to add to everybody's point, I mean, it's really just down to Aaron Rodgers. The defense is going to be a little bit better. Chuck Clark is back for them. Obviously, they have Sauce Gardner, but Chuck is going to be back there for them. The only good thing that I like that they did this year, they actually have good backup quarterbacks. They actually have Tyrod Taylor now and Jordan Travis. So they got good backup quarterbacks in case, Mr. Anti-Vaxxer can't really run like that. So, yeah, they'll be all right. Just – again, it's down to chemistry and down to if everybody's on the same page, because they did show flashes last year. They did change some of the offensive line. They got Olufatunwu in, which is really cool. And then Morgan Moses and another guy they stole from the Ravens too, John Simpson. So, yeah, the offensive line got a little bit better. So, yeah, it's down to Aaron Rodgers if he's healthy or not.
All right, I'm a troubleshooter at the same time. I think my internet might be good, but we don't know. I'll try when the show's over. But anyway, let's go. Let's wrap this up with the New England Patriots.
Yeah,
the New England Patriots finished 4-14 last year. They've got a new head coach for the first time in like 20 something years. I done forgot my man's name. I'm like, what's my man's name? Huh?
Bill Belichick.
No, I'm not Bill Belichick, the new coach.
Gerard Mayo.
He's Gerard Mayo. My bad. I'm tweaking. Gerard Mayo. He's gonna be back. So we've also got Jacoby Brissett. He's a quarterback, and of course they drafted Drake May from North Carolina at pick number 3. Bears fans have learned better by drafting a quarterback from a football school, a quarterback from a basketball school. But not too much there about the Patriots. They're gonna be huff again. Let's just be 100% real about this. They're gonna be garbage. I think that there's, they're a really bad team now. They don't have any pieces. I think long term, maybe they'll have something to rebuild. But when you've been on top, as long as this organization is be on top, you're gonna go through some bad things. I think it's gonna be a race between them and Carolina again with who's gonna get the first round pick. But do we own Carolina's first round pick next year or they second?
Second.
Oh, they second. So yeah, I'm about to say. So they first round pick. So that's what I think about them, Courtney. What you think about the Patriots?
I'm only going to push back on one element of that Patriots team, and that's their defense. I actually think that obviously Bill Belichick, one of the greatest defensive masterminds of all time. I think, you have a guy who was not just in the locker room for a lot of this and on the sidelines for a lot of this, but played for some of these great Patriots defenses. So I think that kind of adds a fun new dimension. And there's some dogs on the defensive side of the ball in New England. So I think from that perspective, there's a bright spot there. And I know KJ Osborne is nothing to like write home about or anything, but I think it could be interesting to watch developmentally. So I'm not thinking that they're going to win more than like max 5, maybe if they're lucky 6 games. But I'm still curious to watch what they do. Also, shout out to Christian Gonzalez, cornerback at Oregon. Fantastic.
Go ahead, Dante. What you think about this team?
I don't think anything about them. I think they are going to be a bad football team. One of the first times we really see, the Patriots, I think, in my opinion, embrace a rebuild, which is why you got rid of Bill Belichick in the first place. So I think this is a year where it's really just about kind of like what the Bears did, identifying what talents you have on your team that's going to go forward and identifying who you need to cut ties with. As a Bears fan, I would love to, hear about a Judon trade to Chicago, but that may not happen. So if you do decide to keep him and build that defense around him, you have a really good piece there. So that's going to be interesting to see. But in terms of this season, I don't expect much from the Patriots. Interested to see what happens with Drake May. He did not look good yesterday, but we'll see what happens.
Go ahead, Tosin. I'm finna exit back in and back out, but go ahead.
Cool. I want to add on to what Tay said about Matt Judon. Yeah, get that man out of there and bring him back to Baltimore. But yeah, I mean, there's really nothing really to take away from the Patriots. They're going to be a really, really just experimental team going forward. I'd like to see Jalen Polk and Kayshawn see what they're going to do on offense. But other than that, I mean, I don't know what else to say about this team that hasn't been said already because just ass. Like, I don't know what else to say. It's not going to be a fun thing to watch, but
yeah, man.
I really think that their defense is going to surprise a lot of people.
Yeah,
that's my only thing that I have to say that I'm hitching my wagon to. Scott, you're messing up again, but it's all good. But that's the only thing I got to say this season. If you take nothing else away from the New England Patriots, their defense should be solid. Also, let's get Ramondre Stevenson out of there too while we're at it.
Yeah, no, it's time to go. It's time to really just reshuffle the deck and rebuild it, you know?
I don't think that they're that far removed, though. Like, I know they're in a rebuild, like very clearly in a rebuild, but I personally don't think that the Patriots are that far away from being competitive again, especially when you see now that the Bills, obviously they have their quarterback situation figured out, which is a key, but like now that they've sort of regressed and they don't have the wide receiver room that they used to, I think it's entirely possible to see that the Patriots get better faster than we think. We've already seen like 2 days into the OTAs that Drake May jumped Bailey Zappi and took his job. Not to say that that's not hard to do. Just my 2 cents, and that's all I got.
I'll say this: you can ask me, Dante, and Tosin what it's like to ask with defense. Not gonna save this man. God bless. God bless. Everything that's going on over there in New England, man. So, yeah, we're gonna wrap this edition up of I'm Not Gonna Hold You. I'm trying to get to the right screen on here. I'm good, right? Am I good?
Kind of, not really. You're a little choppy.
I'm still picking up. Okay,
yeah.
Hold on. Jesus Christ.
Oh, this is
baby.
So put a little smile on Scott's face. You know, Justin Fields fumbled 2 snaps tonight, you know. So
Dan, you still watching your ex's Instagram story is crazy.
Of course.
Crazy.
Am I good?
Obsessed.
Am I good?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah.
Okay. All right, cool.
Dante up here. Dante like the X-Men Wolverine meme in approximately 4 months.
We gonna wrap this up. We can wrap this up so I can figure out what's going on with the internet. But this was another edition of I'm Not Gonna Hold You, man. Definitely, Tosin, we appreciate you for joining us. Let them know where they can follow you and everything you got going on currently, bro.
Don't follow me. Follow the brand. Shirtless Plantain Show everywhere. We're on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. No, we're not on Facebook. We're not that old. And Twitter. So yeah, that's where we're all at. So follow us over there.
Follow them over there. Everything they got going on over there. You can follow Courtney at 1-800-COLOR-BRO. You can follow Dante at OctoberZone Tay on Twitter only. You can follow me at Barberchair Scott on all social media platforms. You can follow the Barberchair Network and at Barberchair Net. And you can subscribe to the Patreon. As you can see right here on the screen, we got you can scan that right there. It'll take you right to the Patreon, man. Everything we've got on there, all the dope content we've got on there. And also, shout out to everybody who supported the 79th and Hallis London fund. We're almost halfway to our goal. If you have anything to lend us or donate, that'd be amazing. You can scan right there and it'll take you right to the GoFundMe, man. So we will not be recording next week because me, Bang, and Mikey will be recording this. I'm Not Gonna Hold You Bears season special. They'll be dropping the week of season 1, man. So we'll be back in 2 weeks with the entire crew. So that's all we got for y'all, man. So y'all enjoy y'all weekend. We up out of here.